A night in with MauLer and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine, pass fail safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, MauLer and the critical drinker.
All right, hello, you lovely people. Welcome to Open Bar.
Welcome.
You sound like an old man there. Like, oh, welcome to the bar.
We've been running this thing for 100 years.
That's true, yeah.
We're all getting on, you know.
I think we've aged pretty well, considering we're at least 111 years old. It's not too bad.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah, we didn't even start it at age 0 or anything, so.
That is true, yeah. But yeah, when you're an immortal, extra-dimensional being like yourself, I suppose time is kind of relative there.
And then you've just found immunity to aging through alcohol? Is that what's happening?
I think so. I've literally pickled myself.
Wow.
It's a good preservative I've discovered, so that's good. I'm actually 96 years old.
Scientists don't recommend it, but all right. It's fine. If it works for you.
Yeah. Do not take medical advice from a guy called the Critical Drinker. That's all I can say. But yeah, welcome everyone. Here we are. And as has become the custom, we'll do a little bit of a rundown of stuff that happened in the year of our Lord, in this case, 2011. And we are running out of years, so I'm going to have to make the most of this one. So, in 2011, we'll start with the good stuff. Game of Thrones premiered. It's that long. That's 13 years ago that came out.
Wow. If only they knew.
Yeah. Also, Osama bin Laden and Colonel Gaddafi both got killed in that year. So, yay!
How is that connected to Game of Thrones? We're going to figure out this episode.
Well, you know, is that a coincidence? I don't think so. Also, sadly, Steve Jobs stepped down as CEO of Apple and passed away in that year. Sad times indeed. But it also in that year that he left Apple as literally the most valuable company in the entire world. For a brief period, I think it was a couple of months, it was valued that, and then I think it got overtaken by a petrochemical company, and then I think it's probably regained the title. It's a multi-trillion-dollar company now. They essentially just own planet Earth. I think we can say that they could buy all of us.
They are trying next to buy the moon.
Yeah, yeah. Also, equally sad, Charlie Sheen was fired from 2.5 Men. Oh, no.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Apparently, he was let go for, quote, dangerously self-destructive conduct and inflammatory comments to the producers. He also did... But,
he put him with on the show.
Was
it Ashton Kutcher?
Yes, it was, yeah. And
I remember
the show was
a friend of mine who watched the show
after.
hated that so much. And I was like, yeah, I mean... Compare those two. You ain't gonna be yeah.
But yeah, he did an interview afterwards, giving his views on the whole thing and claiming that he was a warlock with tiger blood and Adonis DNA. So, I mean, I'm convinced.
I mean, where's the lie? You know?
Yeah, he just kept winning, apparently.
Winning.
Yeah. But in terms of movies, well, the top 5 for that year was number 1, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Thank God the Harry Potter movies are now done. This is the final one. We just stopped talking about them. But yeah, that made $1.3 billion. So
not bad.
Pretty impressive. Pretty damn impressive, yeah.
People like that Potter man with the wizards.
Yeah, the wizard Potter dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, in second place was Transformers Dark of the Moon. That made $1.1 billion. I mean...
What happened in that one? Did the moon
fight each other?
Into a transformer and kill it?
I think it might have done, actually. It was a giant machine, a transforming machine that transformed us into dead people or something. I don't know.
All right.
Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides was in third place. This is a bit shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather not talk about that
Ian
one.
McShane as Blackbeard was something.
Yeah, he's just, in a better script in a better movie with a better script, that would have been great. But, also, the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1, that made $700 million. How? Why? Who went to see it? And why? What was wrong with you?
Right? He really likes Twilight. So, yeah, he saw it a few times.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that. And last, or in fifth place, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. which was almost 700 million. I don't remember a whole lot from that movie, except that I feel like it was vaguely good, just not as good as Fallout.
No, none of them quite get to Fallout levels.
I think Ghost Protocol was the one where he's like hanging off the side of a plane when it's taken off, and it was like legit. He did that stunt himself.
I
think it's Ghost Protocol. Yeah.
That one and Rogue Nation mix in my head a bit.
Oh, yeah, it could be that. Damn. I'm not sure. Chat can help us out, though. But yeah, it was also the year when the MCU started to get... it started to go full on. That's where we had Thor and Captain America of that year. And we were gearing up the following year for the Avengers. Ooh. So, yeah. We also had X-Men First Class, which, yeah, okay. I think it's kind of crazy. Like, I almost see those franchises as belonging to different eras, but they didn't. Like, they crossed over quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
One was way more successful than the other. Yeah, people are saying it's Rogue Nation with the plane. So, yeah, apologies. It wasn't Ghost Protocol.
We get confused here. Although, like I said, over 100 years old, guys. Come on.
I know, yeah. Ghost Protocol gave us the Wi-Fi gloves on the Dubai building, i.e. the Burj Khalifa. Yeah. And I think he did that as well. So, well done, Mr. Cruz. Anyway, that is 2011, but it's now 2014. No, it's not. It's 2024. That's what happens when you're like over 100 years old.
Time's really, it flows or something.
It does, yeah. But anyway, I think we should bring in our panel so we can start talking about stuff that's actually happening in the here and now.
All right, if we have to.
So, welcome everyone. The Angry Badger, Johnny Law, Reaper, and Chris Gore. We have a full house tonight. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Good to be here, man.
So, well, how are y'all doing tonight? Y'all excited? Having watched Rings of Power and stuff? It's all
charges the old battery.
Yeah, it's
thinking. I wish it was 2014. If I could only go back, if I could go back to 2014, what could I stop?
I could warn everybody.
Yeah, we could prevent so many disasters.
MauLer, we might be able to stop some of it.
Yeah, you're a preacher on a street corner with a big billboard, like films are gonna get really bad. Run.
Don't forget about nuance. Source material matters.
Well, we could tell people, like, look, savor this time. This time, like 2014, 2015. This is the last. This is the last of the good times.
To 20, like 15. We don't realize how good we had it.
Yeah.
And then 16 is on the way.
Yeah. Anyway, well, you guys are all kind enough to give us your time this evening, and I guess the first thing I wanted to look at was Joker 2 is on its way. Obviously, we've kind of speculated about whether this movie is possibly going to make the whole musical concept work, and how well it's going to fit in with the previous one. And it's still a couple of weeks off, but they've already done some advanced reviews of it, and they haven't been great. And I just wanted to read you a little bit about what we've got so far. This one is from the bastion of great journalism and unbiased takes, IGN. But I did think it was an interesting take they had here. Joker 2 charges out of the gate with a novel approach to DC's most famous villain, but it soon settles into rote rhythms. Though advertised as a dreamy jukebox musical, the sequel to The Joker is actually more of a courtroom drama, and not a very interesting one at that. The film works best when pushing towards new ways of seeing its central character, often through the eyes of a wonderfully realized Harley Quinn played by Lady Gaga. But it too often insists on returning to familiar territory and occasion familiar footage instead of blazing a new path, which doesn't sound great. And then, looking at some of the reviews that we see on Rotten Tomatoes, we got one from Hannah Strong. Says, it begs the question, why is Phillips so reluctant to embrace the film as a musical? Why not add a little more color, some flourish to the production design?
Seems like the original commit to anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around where this movie sits. It says from Tim Grierson, where the original Joker remains a stunning exception, that rare blockbuster with emotional shading, grown-up themes, and a genuine sense of grandeur, the sequel fails to stay on the beat. And lastly, Shane McKevitt says, Joker 2 certainly sings a different tune than its predecessor, but it isn't an encore worth sticking around for. Doesn't sound amazing. I'm not going to lie.
Did IGN give it a 7 or?
Wait. I have to check, actually.
It's always a 7.
It's always a 7, yeah, like the worst possible score they can give it. Oh no, 5, mediocre.
Wow.
Despite the best efforts of Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga, and an opening hour set in Arkham Asylum, Joker wastes its potential as a movie musical, a courtroom drama, and a sequel that has anything meaningful to say about or add to the first Joker. I mean,
I was surprised he didn't say too much Joker.
Yeah,
People
too much
seem to claim
toxic
not
masculinity.
Yeah.
This could be something to worry about in terms of the film's quality, but you have to bear in mind how much the first Joker was ran into the ground by a lot of these types of reviewers before everyone went to see it. So,
sure, but I think they did it for different reasons. I think a lot of their criticisms not like this fosters dangerous ideas and blah blah blah, white man victim and all that sort of thing. Whereas this seems to focus in much more on the actual mechanics of the movie, which is slightly worrying.
I mean, back then, I remember reading all kinds of reviews that would go into what is wrong with it. Like, it's a Taxi Driver clone. It wants to be a real movie, but it's not. It's got, like, it's very melodramatic. Joaquin Phoenix's over-the-top portrayal, that it focuses too hard on trying to make a point about society that's irrelevant or inaccurate. You know, lots of stuff like that came out. Yeah. It's just that it got, like, a pinpoint sort of focus for being awful. If I remember, because at the time we had to do a bit of like, you know, hang on, it's actually kind of good. But it seems like these days a lot of people are willing to just accept, oh no, that one was good. It's like, oh okay, but this one isn't. Now this one very much could be terrible. I don't know, but it's weird, right? Because like if all those reviews were really good, if you just read them all out and they just said generic blurbs about being good, I would probably be the reverse right now. I'd be like, I don't know, maybe it's bad, like because I can't fucking trust these people. It always feels like it's useless information.
Yeah. No, I'm generally inclined to agree, and like my rule of thumb with this sort of thing is like if the mainstream media dislike it, then it's probably on the right track for being quite good. But I do think it's interesting some of the criticisms that they bring up, and particularly because I think we all had some reservations about the concept behind it. Like I don't know, some of the criticisms seem to be that it doesn't really fully commit to the idea of being a musical, and it's actually like fairly pedestrian in a lot of senses. And it only breaks into those musical numbers on rare occasions. Again, could be totally wrong, and these criticisms might be unfounded, but I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting one to chew over, I suppose. I think these professional reviewers as well, they'll very much be aware of the reception that the first movie got and how wildly like positive most of the reception was for it and how successful it was. And I don't know if that perhaps would normally factor into their perception of the sequel. You know, they'd almost expect it to be good, and so they know what people are expecting from it, and it's not. I don't know.
I don't trust critics at all. So, and we've seen so many examples of disparities between audience and critics. So I think this is a mulligan, actually, who can say. But the movie it's based on, I believe, just because I've known Todd Phillips from the indie film world back in the 90s, Film Threat even distributed his first movie, his first documentary. So, but his track record is mixed, right? With some colossal successes and then downright duds like Hangover 2 and 3. But this, if I'm reading it, the first movie was based on Scorsese's King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, very influenced by those movies from the 70s. I believe, speculating, this is based on New York, New York, with Liza Minnelli and Robert De Niro, also directed by Scorsese, which that movie was a bomb. Almost no one's seen it. It tanked. And I feel like if he's going that direction, the reviews are accurate. So, and no one cares about this being part of is it part of the Matt Reeves universe? Are we going to see young Batman? Will there be Harvey Dent? Like, no one's
sad.
No one's talking about that. I don't know. Remains to be seen. I like the concept. I like the idea he's going after like musical variety shows from the 70s, like Sonny and Cher, which no one remembers but Gary and I.
You boomers.
Yeah. But so wait and see for me, because the critics their track record is so bad. So I'll wait and see. But if he is loosely basing it on New York, New York, that movie wasn't successful. It was a bomb and badly reviewed, one of Scorsese's worst reviewed movies. So it would make sense that inspired by that it would be a bomb. So we'll see.
Yeah, you know the thing that worries me slightly as well. I feel like the mainstream critical establishment would be quite welcoming towards this film because Lady Gaga's in it.
Right.
One, you've got like a female co-star that balances out the male lead, which you didn't really have in the first movie. And two, she's kind of like this feminist icon and stuff. So I figured like they probably almost want the movie to succeed because she's in it.
Yeah. And they switch dynamics where Harley is supposed to be the one who's in love, not with Arthur, but with the Joker persona that Todd has come out and said, this is never going to be the Joker from the comics. He's never going to be the dude that squares off against Batman.
Right.
So why did you just, it's the same way I feel about the first one. Great movie, but why did you have to put it in the Batman universe and just...
Well, you said you have to hide his movie inside a movie that would be more like successful in the box
Get
office.
us to eat our vegetables?
Well,
Covered in
there's almost
cheese.
like Inception levels of hiding of stuff because one, he couldn't do comedy anymore, so he had to like, switch over to a dramatic story, and then two, he had to wrap up his essentially the tale of like a straight white guy who's ostracized by society and abandoned by it within the framework of the DC universe of being the Joker.
Yeah, I don't mind that because he has something to say and he's not lecturing, not trying to push a message, right? I mean, when Todd is good, I think he's very good. The Joker deserved the accolades, and I'm glad it was a huge success. But he is. If you look at his filmography, it's like every other movie. So it would make sense to me that this might not totally work. But
like I said, no more movies, right? This is it.
Well,
this is the continuation.
Did he say that?
He did say that. Now, whether he said that and then there's no more John Wick movies type of thing.
He said he wouldn't make a sequel to the Joker.
Right.
I mean, here he is.
Please. I get it. Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, does it matter? It's not in a universe. It's not, Batman's not in it. That would have been interesting to see a Joker movie where the Joker was the protagonist and Batman was the asshole, like ruining all of his plans. Just see a Batman movie from the Joker's point of view would have been kind of interesting, but didn't do that.
He's a tough character to get inside of because, like, this version of the Joker is not the comic book version of the Joker. This is like just a disturbed guy who's had a really shit deal in life, and as a result, turns to this persona as like his only way out. But that's not really the Joker that we see in the comic books. And so that comic accurate Joker would be a tough guy to get behind because really he's an agent of absolute chaos. And like, I don't even know what his motivation would be at any particular point. He probably doesn't.
If he was blowing up Hollywood.
I think we could all get behind him. Yeah. That'd be fine.
Hold on, hear him out.
If he was going after people who deserved it, right? I mean, anti-heroes are fun. American Psycho, great anti-hero. You don't want him to get caught, right? Like, it's that's a fun kind of story.
Yeah, right? Nightcrawler, like a very fascinating protagonist who's really the villain. But yeah, the Joker is just so out there. It's difficult to even know like what his motivation would be that you would understand.
That's like the whole three Joker storyline where they're very different depending on the time and period there. And some are more sadistic, some more care about anarchy, some more care about like it just depends on which version you go with. But either way, I just like Joker, I prefer his. If I'm to have a history, I prefer it be multiple choice. Like I don't want a locked-in version.
I mean, I did kind of like Heath Ledger's version of it, where it's like he's a guy who's trying to make a very like relevant point about the nature of humanity and society and stuff, and he's trying to prove that it's fundamentally destroyable. If you push people hard enough, they will revert to their base instincts. So that's kind of cool because you can get behind that motivation of like, I have a point to prove here. But again, he's quite a departure from the raving lunatic that you see in most of the comic book versions.
And I love that Heath Ledger based that performance on Tom Waits and John Lydon. I mean, if you watch videos of John Lydon on like the Tom Snyder show, I'm sure it's on YouTube, that his demeanor during that interview, he's bizarre. And
the prosthetics kept coming off. So he kept licking them to keep them wet so they wouldn't, and that led to the whole facial tick. Really, God, what a good performance.
Well, yeah, because he described it as like a wound that like an animal keeps licking at, you know. And I think it just looks disgusting, and you can totally imagine it. But
and I love that he tells a different story every time he talks about his past. Like that's all you need to do. Just throw me a little bit of a lifeline to like, he was lying.
Yeah, it's interesting as well that you said, Chris. You know, like, obviously the first Joker movie was based heavily on Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, and you can absolutely see it. And man, like bringing Robert De Niro in was pretty on the nose for the like the interviewer. And it's like I just think it's interesting now that like the first question we ask with new movies like this is, oh, what is it based on? You know, what movie are you trying to copy here when you're making it? It's like, wouldn't it be crazy if we lived in this world like where it was just an original idea? You know, it wasn't really based around anything. It's not trying to like replicate some other genre movie from the 70s or whatever. It's just a new thing. Like, hey, I had this idea. I'm pursuing it.
Drinker, are you asking for new ideas? Is that what you're asking for?
It's crazy.
We don't do that around here. We don't do that. Yeah.
This guy's crazy.
Sequels, please. Sequels, please.
I just think because like you said that and like everyone kind of nods and is like, yeah, like we get it. Like that's exactly what they did and it's expected. You know, any new movie like this, okay, it's probably going to be based around a beloved and a highly successful or at least like a well-regarded movie from the 70s or the 80s or whatever. I just think it's weird that we've gotten to that point now where it's just expected that a modern film is just going to be based on something else.
Or games. Every time they mention like Knights of the Republic or I'm like, shh.
Yeah.
Everyone that has survived not being adapted, don't give them any more ideas.
Well, filmmakers all have their influences, right? Yeah, but we hardly see anything new today, which sucks. I mean, that's in all the Star Wars is like referencing itself constantly. I mean, I think we'd all agree.
What do you mean? Alien Romulus was totally original.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that was the greatest hits, I guess. But
yeah.
What are you gonna do? He Vadered. There's a lot of that going on. It happened in Rings of Power. I know when we talk about it, they did the thing. I was like, he Vadered. It's a remember berry. Look, it's the thing from the thing. You remember the thing? It's a parody at this point, though. You think they've caught on?
Is it a generational thing where like the younger generation are like, because they didn't experience this stuff when it actually came out, like they weren't around, say, when the original Star Wars movies came out, or even like in some cases the prequels, because now we're getting to that point, you know, they are more forgiving of stuff that references the past because from their point of view, it's new. Because they only see that stuff in retrospect. They never experienced it at the time.
In Alien, they mentioned the cornbread. In Aliens, they mentioned the cornbread. Is Aliens remember bearing the first Alien, or is it just a common joke?
Right.
Serious question, because I forgot that there was a cornbread mentioned in the first one, and I'm like, oh, see, we would accuse that of like key jangling or something, or is it just a cornbread joke that they make in Aliens? Like I don't
remember a cornbread.
Yeah,
reference
I was just watching them again.
The only thing you remember, the cornbread.
It's like never mind the chest burster and everything or any of that. The cornbread that really stuck in my head.
I'm super aware now of how we judge movies. Yeah. Aliens cornbread, you can mark it. No, I'm just super aware of how we look at movies now, and sometimes I accidentally apply it to movies in the past of like, if this came out now, how would we judge it?
There's a video I just saw on Instagram that I think encapsulates what we're talking about. It's very short. You could bring it up. It's like a minute, and it just lays it all out. What we're saying, like kind of the state we are of movies, which is, I don't know, Drinker. If you
I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah, I'll see if I can share screen here.
You not trust Gore?
Trust me.
Yeah, it's not going to take.
That's the next shirt, Chris. Trust in Gore.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Hopefully the audio comes up. We'll try it.
Oh, Doctor Strange.
Infinite.
What are we? Go
okay.
Full screen on the video.
No
audio. Turn the audio on.
Okay.
We'll get there.
This can happen sometimes. All right, hold on a second. Can you share screen and drop it into the I can just share it that way. It's probably easier.
You could just mouth the words.
I could. I'll act it out for you.
It's worth it. Okay.
Hey, this guy's last name is Nick Badger. No relation.
It is Nick Badger.
No.
Is he angry
relation.
though? That's what I know.
At least be temperamental.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Silence.
like just while he's setting that up, the shamelessness of Alien Romulus. It's bordering on Ghostbusters Afterlife at times. Oh, there.
Babysitter's Dead. That's a remake.
Well,
Dune, that's a sequel. Okay, how about Furiosa? That's a prequel. Godzilla, sequel. Quiet Place,
Mute
prequel.
like when we're on film threat.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. That's a remake. Garfield, remake. Twisters, remake. Roadhouse, remake. Okay, what about the new Beverly Hills Cop? If you have to say new, it's not new. Beetlejuice, sequel. Deadpool and Wolverine, been there and done that. Bad Boys, Ride or Die. I'd rather die. Mean Girls, mean to make that. Planet of the Apes, I don't know what it is, but it's not new. Joker 2, Gladiator 2, Moana 2, sequel. Sonic 3, Venom 3, sequel. Kung Fu Panda 4, Despicable Me 4, sequel. They're all damn sequels. Woody Woodpecker goes to camp. Wait, that's a movie that came out this year. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see that. Oh wait, it's a sequel. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that is pretty much bang on.
Yeah.
It has all, we've said this before because we looked at the lineup for the summer movie season this year, and it was pretty much all sequels, remakes, and reboots, and occasional prequels.
Now we got nothing left.
This is where we're at. But the thing is,
I feel sorry for Gen Z. Who are their creators? Do they even care about cinema or movies? Do they? I get that they really don't. I mean,
they're going to what we drag them to, and I'm not introducing my niece and nephew to the sequel trilogy or any of the new shit. I'm gonna have them do the old stuff.
Yeah, but I think they do still appreciate stuff, but they will appreciate the older stuff, which is great. But then they don't have anything that defines their generation.
Precisely.
And I think that's such a shame. Like, someone actually emailed me about this one time, and they were genuinely like down about it. They were like, "Yeah, I love watching movies from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and that's great, but there's nothing from my decade. There's nothing from my current generation that defines us." And I feel like we're lost. We don't have anything of our own. We're just like we're served up the warmed over leftovers of like previous generations, and that's all we get.
Got it. We almost had it for a little bit, maybe with Marvel, the very early stages of like, okay, this could be leading somewhere, and then it very quickly turned into no.
I think
what
as
they
well, though,
accused it of.
But with that, it's like it's hugely commercially successful. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing with any real cultural relevance in that. Like it's not the sort of thing that's going to be looked back on decades from now, like the genre movies of the 70s. It's not like a Godfather or anything that like generations from now we're going to enjoy. It just made a ton of money. I think the Avatar movies are the perfect example of that, where they're hugely commercially successful, but no one cares about what they're actually about.
Well, the impact of a film is how quotable it is. Because when The Lord of the Rings came out, everyone was saying, "You shall not pass," and he was saying everything like that. No one really quotes any of the Marvel movies, except maybe like Thanos.
Guardians of the Galaxy, I do. Who? It's little jokes like that, but yeah, it's not.
They're more meme. Thanos. That's more meme culture.
Memes, yeah.
Yeah, that's
still
memes,
culture, but yeah, I take your point.
Yeah, like they don't.
Man.
Most of those films don't really have anything to say. Like, they're fun, don't get me wrong, and like they give us lots of spectacle and like in some cases really cool characters that we can root for, but they don't have anything deeper, they don't have anything meaningful, and they don't make a lasting impact. Like I don't think the MCU can really stand up as like a defining thing that really like encapsulates a generation. Or maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this is the more terrifying prospect. It does actually represent this generation where it's like hollow, vacuous, commercialized, meaningless nonsense that looks
Are you
nice.
referring to the MCU as a whole? Because obviously it's passed through more than one generation at this point, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I suppose
First part's
it is
pretty
like
solid.
kind of a multi-generational thing, yeah.
Avengers, Civil War.
Well, because Iron Man,
Guardians.
I feel like Iron Man has a
Man.
pretty solid reputation where it's on the shelf with stuff like Blade or X-Men 1 or Spider-Man 1, these films that changed everything.
If that film didn't work, we would not have what we have.
I think Iron Man was so successful in that it proved, one, that superhero movies could be really cool, and like it ushered in a new era of superheroes. it made the Iron Man character work, and it kind of introduced everyone to this wider universe of the MCU. It was still very nice and self-contained. It told its own little story, but it kicked off that, and it established the template for what Marvel movies were going to be.
Yeah. Which unfortunately they followed too much.
Because I guess like what I'm saying is like if you were to look at it from a critical standpoint of like, well, what themes does this movie address? Like, is it super deep or meaningful? Not really. Like, there's some interesting stuff to chew on for sure, but it's not like, you know, super.
Well, half of them were pandering to China. So
what's that? Yeah.
Half of them were pandering to China, weren't they? So it was like that was a big phase, and like what was it? Phase 3, Phase 2.
Yeah,
first one with Tony,
Iron Man
something.
3, yeah.
But yeah, once you get over his personal pathos,
Age of Ultron, I think was quite bad for that, from what I recall. Like, there's some random scenes that are set in like I think is it either South Korea or China, for no particular reason, just because we want to.
That Shang-Chi, fucking hell, that film.
Yeah.
Time to have him direct Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
Is he directing Spider-Man 4?
If you believe the current hereabouts.
Oh, that is going to be shit.
Daniel Destin Craig. Yeah.
Is Shang-Chi 2 cancelled now? Is that one of those ones that they've axed?
Or postponed or whatever?
Maybe.
Forever. What was the last ones? Blade and Armor Wars were the last ones. Supposedly, they just aren't going forward.
Isn't Ironheart going forward?
I think it's done.
They've had that in the can for like a year now, and they've not released it.
Doesn't she, in the trailer that got leaked, didn't she steal something from the university?
Yeah.
And they're all like supposed to be Robin. It's basically Robin Hood, the new Robin Hood show, but with Riri Williams.
Yeah.
My understanding is
same premise. It's a bunch of young geniuses stealing from everyone. It's the new Robin Hood show.
My understanding,
but it's okay when we're stealing because we're super smart. So
stealing from Robin Hood. The new Robin in the Hood is Riri Williams.
Robin Hood.
Oh, let's not go there again.
My understanding is that with regard to Ironheart, they wanted to shelve it, but it would look really bad. However, there's a subplot involving Sacha Baron Cohen that apparently is integral to other subplots in Marvel as a whole moving forward. So they kind of have to. My prediction, they dump it all in one day on in January or something.
Like
Echo.
Skate quickly over thin ice.
Yeah. Just rip the Band-Aid off, get it out there.
Yeah. Let's taco about it, and then we'll all forget about it. Yeah. Remember Echo? The most violent show they've ever released? Oh, it was going to traumatize us with how violent it was. It wasn't. Spoiler.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
it was traumatizing.
8 episodes. It was shrunk down to 5. 3 hours of like pandering was just rubbed out of it.
Yeah. I'd love to. I genuinely love to know what was in those like axed episodes. What did they have there?
Just a whole hour of just screaming in people's faces.
Probably, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, but we've got Agatha Harkness, so it's okay. That's going to redeem the MCU.
I like Catherine Hahn too, and she's making me work for not disliking her with some of her offhand comments, like promoting this stuff.
Isn't it going to be the gayest MCU show ever or something? Like, why did they say that? Like, why did they act like that's a selling point?
The best part is the dude, Locke, who basically says he's an actor who wants to act. He's famous for playing a gay character, and because he dared to say that he wanted to play characters that aren't gay, he had to say he has internalized homophobia.
Because that's go through a struggle session.
Oh, it's so sad. This is what we need. The Ian McKellens. They're like, no, that's stupid. I want to be an actor too. Like, I don't want to just play one role.
Do you think they did the opposite of the African? Because why are you straight? Who says I'm straight? You're not straight?
It's just after the Acolyte and the Power of One, the Power of Two, the Power of Many to go full on the look at our gay witches. It just seems oddly tone deaf, but I guess that's not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's not something that's going to attract people to your show. Like, it might be a nice incidental if your like representation is an important thing for you, but people aren't going to watch it because of that. That's just not an attractive thing for people. It's like, how about we've got a really cool interesting twist on this character or this genre or whatever. Something. Give us something to like about it. But
well, hasn't it been renamed like about 20 times?
At least 3. Darkhold Chronicles, Coven, yeah.
It's definitely not because the show has like a total like identity crisis. It's like, yeah, they're trying to spin it as, oh, it was a joke the whole time. It's to reflect the character's chaotic nature. I don't think anyone really believes you though.
Why don't you just say, this is shit, we know it's shit, you know it's shit, please watch us.
You could almost make more money out of that by just saying, like, go and just tune in and look at how shit
watch how bad
is.
we are. We are so incompetent. This is a train wreck.
This is the worst thing we could make.
I can't even film. I don't even know which way the camera is. You just literally just take the piss out yourselves. Would actually work.
Yeah, I think so. I just prefer
have Aubrey Plaza. We should be playing her up as a super hot witch, but nope.
Yeah,
nope.
She's like
wouldn't want to track.
She's like the old played out version of Jenna Ortega, you know.
Yeah, which might be one of the reasons everyone's going to see Beetlejuice. At least explains why there were such young crowds when I was watching it. Is the Ortega factor?
Oh, we'll get to that in a second. But I just want to read this one out while we've got our audience here. North Metmon says, please allow me to ask for some support for Robert Meyer Burnett's Kickstarter True Noir, an audio drama, 24 hours left and just before the finish line. So if you're interested in supporting Robert, head over to his Kickstarter for True Noir. And you can support it there, become a backer. So best of luck on that one. A Normal Man says, hail panel. If you would MIB style wipe a show or movie out of the memory of Hollywood, the execs, the writers, the actors, etc., which show or movie would it be? I would choose Game of Thrones, if only to stop my favorite franchises from being turned into a pale imitation of it. Thank you. So, if you could wipe out any movie or any TV show from
that includes the actors. If I can get rid of the actors, I've got a few.
Yeah, maybe not wipe them out of existence if you want to commit.
I want them wiped out
in Minecraft.
Okay, you know what? For Reaper's sake, let's expand it to that, so you can take the actors out of existence.
I want a full purge.
So yeah, what would you guys choose if you could get rid of anything?
It sounds like the question's attempting to protect an IP. Seems what it wanted to do, as in like they don't know about it, so they can't remake it or bank on it. In which case, I might pick something like Lord of the Rings, just to undo the mess that they're currently doing and prevent them from doing anything in future. But if this is retroactive, which it sounds like it was, or was it? Did he say it was?
Yeah, so it's anything. Forward? Yeah, you can go back if you want.
Well, if we go back in time, then it probably would be Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
I sort of thought it was a given that we would all, but
I think
Star Wars after Disney bought it, everything, just wipe it away. Like the EU. Gone.
Because I think with something like with Lord of the Rings, that's a problem that's kind of solving itself, and so you don't need to like wipe
I don't know about that. They can just keep making bad shit. I would rather them not. Like, so if the question wasn't retroactive and it was from this day forward, what IP would you guys choose?
Either way, I'm choosing Halo. Then Halo needs to go. Sorry,
I know
everyone else would pick the other ones, but. If anyone thinks that the Halo show is anything related to the Halo games, that's the biggest pain. Gone.
To stop the
you didn't
damage.
Like seeing his ass cheeks?
I did not, sir.
Or his face.
I didn't want any of the Spartans done or breaking down and they're emotional. It's like, no, just fight the Covenant. 2 seasons of a Halo show. We never got to the Halo. Sorry. Yeah, Halo. Anyone?
Yeah.
No? Star Wars, Halo, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings himself.
I might stop Star Trek. Star Trek, I want to just stem the bleeding, and I just want to stop this. It's like watching your favorite relative or something. Like they're like it's like they've died and their corpse gets like exhumed, and someone's just bent it over a table and they're having their way with it, and you're begging for them to stop and they won't. Like that's what Star Trek is now.
But he's been doing it for about 5 weeks, and you go and he's starting to decompose. His head's falling off.
Please
skeleton at this point. I'm just going. Listen, I've been here for a long time. There's no body. He's just bones. He's shoving a hand up his ass.
I'm gonna keep going anyway. God damn it.
He doesn't even lie about it. It's just saying that it's a platform to say what he wants to say. That it's not actually being a shepherd of Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean it's all Bad Robot, isn't it? Like I think if I was to find one production house that's responsible for most of the destruction of modern franchises, it's probably Bad Robot. Like
PJ for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's behind Star Trek. He's behind Star Wars. He did.
Well, yeah,
Lost.
he's got Secret Hideout as well, which is just an offshoot of them, and so they have fucking destroyed most of the major IPs in Hollywood.
Gotta give it to him. It's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've made a mark. You know, a lot of people dream about. Yeah, a lot of people dream about making their mark on humanity or like contributing something. Like, well, they have contributed something to history.
Disney story
they will be
group.
remembered.
I know we like to blame Kathy and Filoni, and don't worry, they have their places. But the Disney Story Group, they're responsible for the vast majority of the horrible things. The ones with the board that had diversity and dinosaurs written twice. Yeah, they get their hands. Pablo Hidalgo's. Yeah, they need to go.
Has anyone seen the Vulcan scene from the new Star Trek? Where
I can't bring myself to watch it.
It's a funny scene because they all biologically turn themselves into Vulcans, and the very first thing they do with logic and superior intelligence is become extremely racist. They keep going. It's four and a half Vulcans because Spock's half Vulcan. They keep bringing up the fact that he's not pure blood, and I went, the first thing you do is go racist.
I don't know what you mean to show us, Joe.
But they're so stupid they don't even see what they're doing.
I know it's I think a lot of these people are just like closeted racists and stuff. But yeah, there's a question here. Like, are there any franchises left that haven't been pillaged already?
Back to the
Future.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's so sad.
Until he dies. When he dies, it'll be like vultures just sailing around a corpse.
Yeah.
They'll
have like lawyers and stuff and contingency plans just ready to go into effect
Stargate.
the moment he's dead.
Stargate.
Probably trying to kill him now. Probably trying to cut his brakes and wheel his fucking car tires.
I mean, the thing is, like, is there anything in place for after he dies? You know, like in perpetuity kind of clause in his contract or something that
like
says
the Tolkien estate.
Well, you think so, yeah. Like,
yeah. Well, can you trust your kids?
Yeah, but
I mean, hopefully,
I guess because you could have a contract drawn up where it's like, okay, this doesn't get passed into a trust. It's not like going to be administered by anyone. It's like cast iron. I own the rights to this, and since I'm dead, nobody can do anything with it now. I forbid it for all of eternity. I don't know.
You need a company to copyright trademark it.
Yeah,
because then it's like 80 years after you die.
Yeah.
The only thing you can really do is make it public domain and go, fuck it, everyone has it. Everyone can make it. So fucking
like,
have you seen Winnie the Pooh?
Lost in the mix then.
Yeah, like loads of Winnie the Pooh things are coming out and now no one's making it anymore. Because that's what you do. You just flood the market till no one wants it.
Mm.
Yeah. And at the risk of triggering MauLer,
can make a Back to the Future film. Sorry.
We haven't had a Buffy. No, I was saying we haven't had any Buffy remakes. I think it's because who controlled Joss, right? He still has.
Maybe that's it.
Dude,
maybe we all these people with franchises need to start sexually assaulting people. That way, they won't make a remake. They'll be too tainted for anyone to touch a franchise.
Don't think
probably inevitable. You'll get a Buffy fucking 1 season reboot at some point. That'll be terrible, and then it'll be forgotten. There'll be that.
Yeah.
So no, maybe Joss Whedon wasn't such a bad guy. He did what he had to do.
Yeah, he's doing it for the good of humanity.
Well, he's saved because of his actions.
I don't know if you guys get this, but when you watch YouTube videos, sometimes there'll be like commercials for a Buffy audiobook. And
yeah,
wouldn't you fucking know it? The new Slayer is a black girl. Of course,
that was the plan with the actual reboot. This is the thing. The one that Joss Whedon was involved with before he got cancelled was going to be a black Slayer. I don't know if Buffy.
Slay.
Yeah, like the whole thing got like squirreled away, and I think that if it ever comes back, they'll probably try that again. Which is really annoying, by the way, because there are black Slayers in Buffy's history that they could totally make shows about. But
Blade.
Oh well.
Well, I know, but it's just like, if they did it now, we would understand exactly the reasons why they did it, and we know what every episode would be about if they did it. you know,
that's the biggest tragedy. Is what if she was really good and now they poisoned the water because it's what we tried to talk about. So they've actually ruined it now. So people who do have merit, you now obfuscate. Well, do they have merit, or did they just get it because it was the best person they were looking for to virtue signal?
Yeah,
they're doing a disservice to the people they're trying to help, but they're not actually trying to help. That's why.
Well, in the case of Disney, like they've straight up admitted it, or at least their senior executives have, you know, during undercover sting operations, where it's like, yeah, there's certain roles we just won't hire white men for that role. Like, we're just really honest about that. It's like, nah, we want someone else. Great, I guess. Sure.
Well, you've got how do you get anything adapted properly nowadays? Because George R. R. Martin was talking about how they're already altering his story, and the Harry Potter TV show is coming out, and they're already doing diverse casting for the leads. So already these stories that you're trying to adapt from famous franchises are being altered by people in Hollywood. So it's, how do you get anything remotely, you know, truly adapted from the source material?
You don't, because like when you ask a studio to invest tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in the project, it always comes with caveats, and those caveats are usually, yep, you're going to have to meet our quotas because we have to meet it to justify our investment from BlackRock.
George needs to be a bit careful as well, because, you know, having all these complaints and writing all these blog posts is just, everyone's looking at him like, you be spending that time writing something else?
Can we honestly, like, each episode of Open Bar, can we just have like a wheel of excuses that we spin? Like, what is George excuse this week for why he's not written
fascism?
Yeah, it's like fascism. He's working too much on all of his other TV shows there, and I love that they chose the term "eating up too much of his time." Like, there's only so much eating that gets done in George's case, and it's not by his time.
It's like Nazis keep coming in and burning his pages, and he went, "God damn Nazis!
Oh, not again!
You keep destroying my books."
Yeah, it's like he's sort of saying like, "Oh, I have to take all of the world's problems onto my shoulders, and because I'm busy solving all of that, I can't write my book." Like, what are you actually doing? You're just sitting there collecting your paychecks. You're not actually working. Like, I think everyone knows the real reason he just doesn't want to finish it. He doesn't want to finish it and have all that expectation put on him because he knows it'll never live up to expectations now. And it's ultimately going to be a disappointment.
That's what I mean, man. Like, him saying, you know, things are getting adapted wrong. It's like, you know what's even worse than adapting's been wrong? Not even doing anything with the things that doesn't fucking exist. Like, you can't even adapt the end of Game of Thrones yet because it doesn't exist.
But his legacy is in some ways intact, because he, like, say he passes away tomorrow, Winds of Winter doesn't get finished. Well, people can always claim historically, well, you know, his vision was never fully realized because he never got a chance to finish it, and we'll never know exactly how good or bad Winds of Winter could have been if it was done by him. So, like, that is different than him releasing an absolutely shit book because he doesn't know how to tie up all the loose ends that he's created for himself.
I think it's downright reasonable that he would have significant anxiety over completing that story after what happened. Maybe he's actually decided to just get as much distance from it in years as possible, but simultaneously it's like, shit, I might die. Okay. Gotta finish
in which
it
case, you could write them all and then just wait. You know, like, you've written it, it's ready to go, and it's like, okay, let's wait 10 years and then we'll publish it.
I mean, the biggest troll for him to just drop both books on the same day and just be like, yeah, fuck you. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I don't think he's going to happen, but yeah,
like,
I believe him. I believe him when he says, like, yeah, I haven't really done any work on Winds of Winter this year because.
Wait, maybe that's it. Maybe they're set to release both of them once he dies because he doesn't want to deal with the backlash. He's like, "Fuck you guys."
That would be hilarious. He had it done the whole time. He took all of our criticism. It's sort of the same ending as the series, but he led up to it perfectly. And it's like, here you go. You doubted me.
I mean, it'd be better if he had the finished manuscript and he set fire to it.
Like that Banksy painting, like when people bid like $10 million for it and it just shreds itself.
He tosses it into the Grand Canyon and there's people who jump in after it. Like, no.
Hey, Badger, were you going to say that he is the Nikocado avocado of writers?
I was going to say.
He comes back. He's like, do you know what? It's complete, and my BMI is healthy. What's up?
Yeah, like George just appears in public and he's totally shredded.
Which way do the winds of winter blow? That way.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just he obviously doesn't need the money at this point in his career. You know, he's making bank off all the TV shows and stuff, so that's great, I suppose. And maybe there's just not a strong incentive for him to sit down and finish this book. Like, why tarnish your legacy by releasing a disappointing novel when you can just sit back and let people imagine what could have been? I don't think
could
he
also
even
be
cares at
hoping
this
for
point.
a Wheel of Time situation where, was it Brian Sanderson finished the books after he died?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've got ghostwriters lined up because they must know, even in the outside chance that he finishes Winds of Winter, and that's a big if at this point, he is never going to finish A Dream of Spring, and so someone's going to have to be lined up to finish that for him.
That's what Gary says. Why doesn't he just give them, the ghostwriters, finish your series while you go do your TV shows? You can at least see it in your lifetime.
Yeah, and then he gets to see it be destroyed again.
Right. Oh, maybe that's why he's not finishing it. He doesn't want him to do it.
The Night Queen.
Yeah.
Night Queen, yeah.
Jon Snow's going, McQueen, and he's torn between Daenerys and a Night Queen. He's running around going, McQueen.
Where's my Jon Snow series? Wasn't that happening?
No. How many spin-offs do they actually have lined up at the moment?
Duncan Egg.
Lost track. Right.
That's next year. House of the Dragon. They're doing the 10,000 ships with the Queen of Dawn, the future Queen of Dawn. They had Blood Moon, which is about feminism, that got cancelled.
Yeah, that was Naomi Watts that was going to be in that.
Aegon the Conqueror. Are they still doing
She's
that?
Lan the Clever.
Aegon's Conquest. That's right.
I never got why they didn't just do Robert's Rebellion immediately after God of Thrones.
Yeah, just go backwards in order.
God of War Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, would
that'll be hype, right? When they release the trailer and it's like Ned Stark, Robert Baratheon in their prime, people will be like, "Ooh, I remember them."
Isn't that guy Elrond now on Rings of Power?
Yeah. He's young enough that he could still do it, I suppose. I'm not sure I'd want him to play.
I don't know if they probably want someone younger in Robert's Rebellion, Ned Stark, because the point is he's going to be super fucking young. This is, they probably roll it back well before the actual rebellion as well.
Aren't they on their 20s, early 20s?
Isn't Robert Baratheon huge?
Well,
yeah, they'd be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, basically.
People like try to fan cast Henry Cavill as they do with every role. That's like a chance of it, but he's
you have
too
a dead
old
young Ned and a dead tall Robert, so it looks like a man and a child.
I mean, yeah, it's just we talked about this on Friday Night Tights as well. Like, I can't remember what the author's name was, but he produced this very long tweet, like describing all the problems he saw in like the philosophy behind George R.R. Martin's writing, and the kind of the bleak, morally grey nihilism of the world of Game of Thrones and how it's starting to become a bit old now, and maybe it's not going to stand the test of time in the way that something like The Lord of the Rings has. Because those are timeless stories of heroism and people rising to the challenge and the occasion. And if anything, like the moral lesson from Game of Thrones is that real heroes die and like don't succeed because you need to be morally compromised and you need to be willing to bend and adapt in order to prevail in a world like that.
But I mean, the issue here is we've got a terrible ending to a TV show and then no ending from the books. We can't even say right now, because obviously.
No, but I guess my point is because hypothetically you could, because as you mentioned in that tweet, you could eventually transition from low fantasy, which is what you have in the world of Game of Thrones, to eventually high fantasy, because there's the gradual introduction of magic, dragons, the existential threat of the White Walkers, which hasn't been resolved in the books. That could be the thing that forces people to put aside their petty differences and become like actual heroes, like sacrificing themselves for the good of humanity. That's all awesome. I just don't know if George R.R. Martin is going to actually incorporate
for the record,
that
happens in season 8. It's just really bad. Like, think of Jorah Mormont, for example, right? He dies a hero. A lot of the characters at Winterfell
it doesn't
it hero thing.
Yeah, but, well, it does and it doesn't, because a lot of those characters die And the whole White Walker thing is just resolved like halfway through the season. And then it devolves once again into petty squabbling over land, power, the throne, just people going back to being assholes again.
That was, thematically speaking, my big issue with season 8, as well as everything else. But I would still say, because I don't even like a lot of the deaths, but I would still call them, they're supposed to be like, oh, the character ended up doing the right thing. Remember Theon? Like he dies.
Yep.
Defending.
Jamie didn't. Jamie got crushed.
I almost don't want to get into it because there's so many things to talk about in terms of what they did with all different characters. But like he'll have in his ending in his book, there'll be plenty of characters doing superheroic things at the end, more than likely, that are going to make.
I don't know if you say that with a lot of confidence. I don't know if they will. I don't know if that fits in George's like view of the world, and particularly now, like as he's constantly banging on about fascism and all the things that like hurt him about modern day life and that he finds triggering. I just don't know if he sees that in humanity anymore, and I don't know if he'd want to incorporate that into his books.
So you like, are you saying that there were, but there aren't anymore, like in the story of A Song of Ice and Fire?
I don't even know if he had a clear understanding of what he wanted his ending to be, like in terms of drilling down to like where he wanted each character to go. I think he has added and expanded upon the lore and the characters and the world so much as this series has progressed. He doesn't even really know how to tie it up at this point. I think he did it on the basis of I'll probably figure it out when I get to the final book.
Well, and as far as I'm aware, what stopped him a while back was something that was referred to as the Milanese knot, where he had written too many different events at the same time that he was having trouble in the timeline matching them up without crossing over and fucking everything up. So that's probably happened for sure. But I don't know. Like I think the notion, he does understand what it means for a person to be heroic, but he'll undercut it with the sense of like, this is what happens to true heroes in the real world that are filled with manipulative, snaky, asshole rat people, which to an extent I find interesting. But I think I get what you're saying, that like you wouldn't want that to be the ending point.
Yeah, I can see that as being part of your process of development, where like a lot of these heroes get cut down or undermined or whatever, and like the sneaky assholes of the world score temporary victories. But at a certain point, like in terms of just your dramatic resolution of this and giving your audience some kind of like emotional release at the end, you have to move past that. If you keep that as your thesis throughout the entire story and that's kind of how it ends, like, good God, that's bleak and depressing. There has to be something to justify all of this, and I just don't know if he has that in him.
I suppose we'll see. But like I said, it's just weird to guess right now because we've got the very bleak and nonsensical ending of the show versus we haven't got a book ending. Yeah. But we'll see.
Well, we won't, because we won't see his ending.
Well, maybe we won't.
That's the problem,
right. Like, maybe we won't.
That's the problem. And people will hail him as this fucking literary genius who just didn't quite have the time that he needed to justify his vision. If only he wasn't so fat and lazy, he would have had it done by now. But anyway, that's another discussion. But the other thing that we were looking at was Beetlejuice 2 has come out, right? And this is kind of 2024 has been like the year of sequels to like ridiculously old franchises. We got Twisters, which gave us our sequel to like the original Twister from like 1995, I think. We got The Crow, which was less of a sequel and more of just a remake of a movie from 1993, I think. No, sorry, 94. And now we had Beetlejuice, a sequel to a movie from 1988. I don't know why they felt like they had to wait so long for this, but here we are. We've got it. And it's actually done surprisingly well. It's I'm just looking at the box office for it now. It's been out for, a week or so. It's already at 162 million against a fairly small budget. So it's doing okay. For a movie that was released in September, traditionally like a dumping ground of films, it's done relatively well. And I guess I'm kind of curious as to how it succeeded.
Yeah, I think it's a triple factor. It's the Tim Burton. So there's people that show their kids Tim Burton movies. And then there's the kids that just latched onto Beetlejuice, and there was that cartoon that you could still catch sometimes. And then it's the one that I had to have a shout out to Script Doctor on Film Threat Versus, who had to. It's the Jenna Ortega factor. I was wondering why there's so many young kids, like girls, in this Beetlejuice screening, and then they were screaming only at the Jenna Ortega stuff. And then the moms looked either bored or they were dressed up like Beetlejuice and they were there for Winona Ryder. So it's sort of hitting, and that's the people watching it. Still, otherwise, I thought it was going to have a steep drop off because,
it's not a great movie. It's so cluttered with so many different subplots, so many characters. It's like it's trying to jam 2 or 3 movies worth of ideas into one film that's not particularly long, and it's so it's like it gets in its own way basically, which is frustrating.
It's like a season's worth of show crunched into one movie. There's so many subplots, but the thing that worked in the movie was the only thing that mattered, and that was Keaton as Beetlejuice. It's like no time has passed, because a lot of these movies where the sequels are made way later, decades later, they don't always work. People look different. It's, different era. He pretty much stuck with that character as, from 1988, and it worked. And it's like, he looks the same. It's incredible. So, and that movie has such a following. It's at I just got back from Dragon Con. There's Beetlejuice cosplay everywhere, as there is every year. No Acolyte cosplay, by the way. Just update you all. But that's a barometer for how successful something is. It endures decades. So, and the movie's the first movie, 90 minutes.
Yes.
90, and so many highlights. It's awesome. But I mean, this film was fine, but the Keaton parts worked best. And it's just bloated and overblown. But
Monica
you're right.
Bellucci robbed.
She got like 5 minutes of screen time in the whole movie, and it's like fucking hell. She's supposed to be your main antagonist, and she basically gets to do nothing. And if you've got Monica Bellucci who's willing to wear like a skin tight corset, you get her in every fucking scene. With like this, compare Keaton to Bill Murray from Ghostbusters Afterlife, who looks like he was fucking dead and he'd been marched to the set at gunpoint. He absolutely did not want to do that. Keaton gave it 100%. And like you say, he's not missed a beat, and he doesn't seem to have aged a day. Like, I know he's obviously in heavy Beetlejuice makeup. He's still got the energy. He's still got the movements. Like, he looks like he last played Beetlejuice like a couple of weeks ago.
He was having fun.
It's crazy.
What do you think about the comparison then with him in that role, with him as Batman in The Flash, where he clearly didn't give a fuck about that either? And do you think it's that he really loves Beetlejuice, or do you think it's
his Han Solo, right? Like, he thinks that's his more important character. People may talk to him about Batman, but he likes Beetlejuice, I think.
I mean, Keaton comes from a comedy background as well, so I think probably Beetlejuice is more naturally in his wheelhouse, and I think he just, it's a character that you can't help but have fun with, I suppose, because he is a really
stronger rapport with Tim Burton as well, and working with him probably makes him feel like this thing will be worthwhile. As opposed to whatever the hell The Flash was.
And so, like, you have to remember as well, like, there was a whole plan to have Keaton play a whole series of movies. He was going to be in, like, Batgirl. He was going to do The Flash, and I think he was going to do a couple of other movies beyond that. He was going to be very much the transitional Bruce Wayne. He was going to be the mentor character for a bunch of other people. None of that came to pass, obviously, but he was signed up on that basis, and it was probably quite a lucrative deal for him and quite attractive. Didn't pan out. Beetlejuice, I get the impression, like you say, it's more of a passion project. He enjoys the character. He enjoys working with Tim Burton. It fits with his sensibilities as a comedic actor. He gets to like stretch his muscles doing like singing, comedy, all kinds of goofing around. It's probably just a lot of fun, I imagine, being on that movie.
Out of curiosity, since it's Beetlejuice, then Beetlejuice, is there anything at the end of the film that implies there could be a Beetlejuice?
They're
the
going
box
to.
office that implies the third one.
There's nothing that happens in it that makes you think, oh, this story's concluded. Like, he could just as easily come back again.
I was going to say, like, especially with Keaton, he's not a spring chicken, so I imagine they're probably like, we should probably get that third one done sooner rather than later. I'd be curious about.
The problem with this one as well, like, they can't seem to decide who the focal point is. Is it Winona Ryder or is it Jenna Ortega? And so their plot lines kind of mirror each other and they overlap and like step on each other's toes. Because like Winona Ryder's Lydia, her character, her father's died in this, and because that dude was a fucking bad guy in real life. Like,
I would say we talked about why they had to do that. Yeah,
he did some of the worst stuff, and like, yeah, they should have just wrote him out of the movie. Just say he died years ago. He's not here. That's it. One line would have explained.
But see, Tim liked, right, Chris? We were talking that Tim liked the character. Right, but then tried to disavow the actor.
But Jeffrey Jones, by the way, I have this app that tells you where people of that type live in your neighborhood. If you go to the Grove and use this app, his picture popped up. I was shocked. So he lives around the Grove, a place in Hollywood, Badger, you know where that is. But I thought it was very clever how he kept the character in. It was very clever. You never saw he was never that. He didn't have to do anything. I'm pretty sure they paid him something for his likeness. I mean, you have to, I guess, unless you're at Lucasfilm, but you know,
well, I mean, they look at it this way. They wrote Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis out of the story with like one line of dialogue. It's like, oh, we found a loophole so they could pass on to the afterlife or whatever.
Somehow they passed on.
That's dumb. They were the heart of the last movie. Gina Davis is alive and just in. She's alive.
It was Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, Alex, not his career. The career's not alive.
Yeah. They probably didn't want him set with firearms. You know,
Gina Davis was just in that terrible movie Blink Twice, which was god awful. But they could have brought her in somehow. I mean, I don't know. I thought they were the heart of the movie, having watched the original recently. So that's
you should have done a Qui-Gon at the very end.
Well, yeah, but
hello, and his leaves.
Yeah,
I guess the point I was trying to make though with all this is like, so Winona Ryder's character and Jenna Ortega's character, they're both suffering from the same thing in that they've both lost their father figures.
Right.
And so like one of them, Jenna Ortega's father, actually becomes a major plot point like towards the end of the movie because then she gets reunited with him and stuff. But like you never get to see him before that. Like he's literally shows up 2/3 of the way through the movie and you're supposed to care when they get reunited. I've never even seen this guy. I don't know anything about him. I don't care about him.
For a second that she stares at. It's not enough to build
but like with Charles, he was a major character in the first movie, and like obviously we know why he's not in the film, but like the character gets killed, everyone acts like, oh yeah, that's inconvenient that he died. Like there's no real grief or anything. It just seems to be this weird like comedy thing, and then he keeps like being referenced throughout the film, and eventually Delia gets a reunion with him at the end, and again it means nothing because the actor's not really there, and we're not encouraged to care about the character dying, either of them dying, in fact, because like it's all just played like really weirdly lighthearted. It's just, it doesn't match up, and it feels like there's just a duplication of effort. The movie seems to want to go for some kind of emotional impact with like people losing their fathers, but then it doesn't give you anything to make good on that promise. And so it's just this weird middle ground of nothingness. It just wastes a lot of time.
Johnny, did you see it? Did you see Beetlejuice?
I have not seen Beetlejuice. I haven't even seen Beetlejuice. I can't lie.
Oh my God.
No, trust, I deal with someone who hasn't watched anything. That's the least of the offenses.
Honestly, if you wanted a good example of a really tight, efficient, well-crafted screenplay, watch Beetlejuice.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't have time to watch Tremors, because Tremors is probably the gold standard for like a brilliant screenplay, but watch Beetlejuice because again, it does the same thing. It does everything in 90 minutes.
Holy shit, this got made and it was something that people enjoyed a lot, and it's like, yeah, it did. It was a cool time. You could just have something like that.
Obviously, I'm aware of Beetlejuice. Like, wasn't the practical effects something that was quite iconic about it?
There
were
were
puppeteering.
Yeah, claymation.
What was the second like? Was it? Did they introduce a lot more CG? Was it still practical? What was going on?
A bit of both. They did do the claymation stuff for the sandworms on Saturn, which is like apparently a thing in the afterlife. I don't know why, but it's just random as fuck.
Definitely watch Tremors though. The first time I was on here and MauLer asked, Tremors is what came to mind. What's your favorite?
Yeah,
Tremors, dude.
They kind of kept the aesthetics, especially in the afterlife, of the original movie. So I respect it for that. It looks like a worthy sequel. It's just that the script that ties it all together is so sloppy and so crowded with stuff. It's just cluttered, and there's no real like dramatic focal point. Like Willem Dafoe, when you've got him in your movie, like make use of him. But here he's just goofing around. Like he's just there to be a goofy character. That's it. There's no real purpose to him.
Do you think they only did it because they plan to set up stuff for the sequel? Because they clearly have a sequel in mind, don't they? I think all these characters are there just because they'll have a bigger payoff in the sequel.
Or it was going to be a TV show. I think it was pointed out that the guys that wrote it are famous for Smallville. So, or maybe that's just they don't know how to write a tight, concise movie. So they gave 4 plot lines.
It could be. I don't know what their thinking is. I'm sure they're eyeing the possibility of a sequel with like some pretty solid box office. Because, like I say, releasing a movie in September, like that's the dead zone for movies. Like nobody's going to the cinema in September.
It's quite ironic.
Yeah,
it's film about ghosts.
Well, I don't know why they didn't do it in October. That's a great time to do it. It's spooky season. It's Halloween. Like this is perfect for Beetlejuice.
Joker 2 comes out on October 4th. It'll probably eat up a lot of the box office.
It probably will, yeah. Unless
that'd
it's
be a weird
shit like people
competition,
are saying.
wouldn't it? Joker 2 the musical versus Beetlejuice. You'd be like, all right, yeah, let's see what happens. Imagine they put Alien Romulus out in October as well. Those 3 competing.
I've got a question for you, Chris. This is from A Rookie Fire. It says, Drinker, ask Chris Gore about a lovely movie called Six String Samurai. He gave it 5 stars, says Chris in the trailer, but pretty sure Frank is the one that gave it the rating. I recommend that you guys watch the trailer. Bowling Pin Knives, check it out.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a really awesome, low-budget, lo-fi, independent action movie made in the 90s, and I saw it at the Slam Dance Film Festival. I haven't heard someone reference that in a long time, but somehow my quote made it on the DVD box or whatever. But it's a great little, it shows you what you can do with nothing. But the guy who's in it is a stunt actor, white guy who was a stunt actor in Asia. So very good film. Check it out. Funny to hear that. That's cool.
Six String Samurai, it's called.
Six String Samurai. Look at it. Made for almost nothing. Shot in the desert at a junkyard, and they just it's really good. Real like a rockabilly guy, just with swords and lots of fighting. Yeah.
Okay.
Well worth it.
Fair dues.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I have put this off as long as I could, gentlemen.
Here we go.
Oh no! Oh no!
Here we go. Okay.
Rings of power.
Rings of power.
No.
This is what I've been waiting for.
I will start it off by saying that I think episode 5 of Rings of Power was probably the least terrible episode that I've seen thus far. And I think I'm including season 1 in this. It felt like they let the adults take over the show for one episode. And it's probably got the best actors and the best characters, or the least unlikable characters in the show are the focal point of this episode. And it wasn't as terrible as I'm used to. So I guess
I would agree that it wasn't. It
definitely
wasn't the most terrible episode, but for me, it definitely was the most boring. This was. It was very thespianic. Everyone's just sat there sort of monologuing to one another. It was literally an hour of everyone frowning at each other, frankly. It was dark. It was dull. It was, but yeah, I will agree. It was definitely not the worst episode so far. Best looking guy in the Burns unit, but it is what it is.
Panel,
do you like those actors?
What do the rest of you guys think?
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. But if you had to compare it to the other episodes, where does it sit?
I'm not actually sure, because I get what you're saying about it's mainly people talking, but like some of the talking was really cringe. You know?
It was, but then there was far fewer tortured metaphors than in previous episodes. Like I feel like they were talking more like normal people.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I remember detecting at least 3.
3? Yeah, I mean, you're talking like 20 or 30 in your average episodes.
I said at least, okay? It can go as high as 1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, it could. But no, I don't know. I just feel like the dialogue was a little bit more economical than it had been in previous episodes. There was far fewer tortured metaphors, and I don't know. It seemed to be people wrestling with actual interesting issues, I suppose. The ultimate resolutions were still retarded.
Absolutely,
but
including dropping a sword in front of people.
Oh yeah, and it's like, so this guy is a military man, and he is trained, and he drops the sword at the feet of the guy that just tried to drown him and then stab him, and then turns his back to him and thinks, yeah, this is gonna be fine.
Well, trained to be fair, he did break the guy's shoulder, so I would have thought that would be him out of action. But no, apparently
he has a whole
people
other
have two arms, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
there's another one.
That's true. People have two hands, two arms. So
he didn't see him. He like perfectly snuck in, like behind him, so that no one could see him. So you throw behind you.
You should have also broke his legs to make sure he couldn't grab it with his feet. You know,
I did like how he stabbed him, and then when the guy fell to the ground, like the dude who did the stabbing was at least 30 feet away.
He was quite far back, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's like that must have been a long ass sword.
Captain leaving the deck and all that respectful stuff, and there's little moments, but then it was quickly ruined by everything else.
What I'll say though is like, because this is a very specific example, but in a wider sense, the premise of the episode is about the forging of the 7 rings and the 9 rings, right? And I still don't understand the reasoning behind this, because the purpose of the episode is to say the 7 rings that we made for the dwarves seem to be having some weird effects on them, and it's starting to corrupt them, and we're a bit worried that we might have fucked up with these ones. What should we do? Make 9 more for guys? For men? I suppose.
If we make the next 9 correctly, it'll balance out the previous bad 7.
I knew that. Like, this is the thing, right? Because I can do basic mathematics in my head. I was like, I know this is going to be their fucking stupid justification for this. It's like, okay, we know the 3, the elven rings, are safe, and the 7 are corrupted. So wait, if we take 9 and add it to 3, that'll overwhelm the 7, and it'll balance everything out and make it all good on balance.
Exactly.
So we
this
should
is
just
Disney
do that.
Mathematics. This is like, we've made lots of terrible things. How do we solve this problem? We make 9 more.
Well, remember, he said you got 3, which is the best number ever. Then you got 3 thrice, meaning 9, and then 7. They have nothing for 7. They just keep wrenching. How does 7 work with your 3 logic? Fucking 7. Shut up.
Is Celebrimbor retarded? Because I don't understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
absolutely. Yes, 100%.
Good, because he's completely different in the Shadows of Mordor and War for Mordor. He's actually competent in that one, and I'm not understanding why they made him a Vidal Sassoon himbo model that just is like, oh yeah, all right, Anatar, sure.
He is possibly the most gullible man on Middle Earth.
Yeah, it's not fair to call Sauron the deceiver when everyone around him believes anything they say.
Yeah, he is not the deceiver. Everyone else is just the deceived.
It's just gullible.
Because Chris, to put this into context, right? There's one bit, and I still don't understand the sequence of events here, but they're trying to make a new ring for men, right? And someone puts it on because they're trying to resize it, and she goes invisible, and she's able to see the sort of dark realm like you do when you put on the One Ring, you know, in the Lord of the Rings movies. Right, and so she's flailing around like, "Oh shit, I'm invisible!" And then they eventually get the ring off her, and she's like, "Oh god, I saw these horrifying visions. Like the world was veiled in mist and shadow, and I saw this man wreathed in fire, like with a one eye glazing right at me. You know, glaring. And so." Like Sauron takes her aside later and says, "Oh yeah, don't worry. You know, I know I'm a complete stranger to you, and I just showed up here like just to make these rings. But I think the guy that you saw that was so terrifying was actually Celebrimbor. So you should be very wary of him. But don't do anything, and you can definitely trust me. I'm not the terrifying fireman."
Yeah, no.
And she's just like, "Okay, well, I'm convinced."
He's done a great job of covering up being an evil fireman. He's done a great job. He now looks like one of the white chicks. Like, he's done a great job.
Have you seen him try to lie? Where Celebrimbor goes, "Did you do something to those dwarven rings?" And he does this big long pause and goes, "No."
Is that right? Okay.
It's like fucking Mark Wahlberg from The Happening. It's like, what? No.
He says the chick reminds him of Galadriel.
That's one of the most offensive things you can say to someone. Oh.
But he goes, he turns around and goes, "Celebrimbor, I think it's you who's evil." And goes, "My God, you're right."
He gives him the Palpatine. He tells him, you told me about killing the Sand People. He goes, "Well, you probably shouldn't have made those rings. Now you have to confess your guilt, because if you don't
I'm not
want
evil,
to,
you're evil.
You gotta keep making the rings."
Yeah,
But the stupid
correct me if
thing
I'm
is,
wrong, but Celebrimbor brought up that he'd been manipulated. He was like, you have a way of making people think your ideas are their ideas.
Yep.
When he said that, I was like, bro.
Yeah, it's like, do you
Connect
not
the
understand
dots.
the chain of thought you're going through here? Take it to its logical conclusion.
You
He's
said the
lying to you.
thing.
but what's that thing where like Sauron's supposed to be like a master manipulator and everything, but everyone in this is so stupid and believes everything he says, no matter what. I can't believe though he literally says, "I'm not evil. You lied to Gil-galad." So that somehow put evil fucking psychic vision of Sauron in the ring, and he believes it.
Yeah, they're so gullible in this world. Like any of us could just show up in our street clothes, like right there, and just be like, "Hey, we want to. Like, I want to forge some rings with you guys that will make the world a better place. Just trust me, bro. It'll be fine."
Just
And
say
they would
you're
just go
king.
with it.
Say you're king from the Southlands and you have a patch of heraldry. Here you go. Clearly, I'm the one true king. Thank you. And they'll believe you.
Yeah,
And if it goes wrong, you could just make more.
There you go.
Because yeah, like help me out with this sequence of events here, right? So
Okay.
they're worried, like in the previous episode, they're worried that Sauron has infiltrated Celebrimbor's forge at Eregion. So they send Galadriel and a bunch of other guys to go there. They get intercepted by the orcs. And she has to fight them off. She gets captured, and then Elrond runs back to Gil-galad to explain what's actually happened, that they couldn't get there and that they think it's been infiltrated. But in the meantime, Celebrimbor sent a letter, literally just a letter to Gil-galad saying, "Everything's fine here. Don't worry. We've stopped making rings. The three are great. That's all we're going to talk about. Bye." And that's
he
enough
didn't even
for him.
say he didn't even say stop making rings. He said he closed the entire forge. He's like, right, yeah. I mean, we've made
Yeah,
3
we're
rings.
not
Now.
making
I guess we
anything
don't
now.
need
It's
any
so-
more. We don't
it's
need
so
any more
confusing.
technological advancements. We
But how
can
did
close up shop.
How did this letter get through when the other one didn't get through to
Oh, well,
him?
to be fair, right, Sauron wants that one to get through, so maybe you could make that excuse. But the thing that strikes me is it's one of the most fucking suspicious letters ever. There's so much, like, the way that it's read, and then, of course, the fact that you would just fully shut down the forge anyway. There should definitely be a sense of, like, do they have a gun on you? And then Celebrimbor just replies, no. Like, it's totally fine.
And then to go back to what you were saying, Drinker, like you said that, like, yeah, so they're all on high alert. Like, somewhat they think that the region has been infiltrated. Gee, could it possibly be the only guy that's turned up within the last couple of days? Could it be him? No, it couldn't possibly be him. He's just hit everyone with the no, you're evil, and everyone's like, you're right, I am, yeah.
Trust this complete stranger. He'll be fine.
But the thing is, though, Celebrimbor says, "No, we're not doing the 9 rings." And so Sauron goes, "Fine, I'll do it myself." It's like, "No, you won't. This is my forge. Fuck off."
Yeah.
Yeah, he just lets them
he
do it. It's
lets
like,
them, yeah.
because the camera lingers on him like, oh, there's nothing I can do. I suppose he's just going to
Oh,
make
what am I
going
going
to
to do? It's only my forge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I was going to say, do you guys have any idea why they keep the anvil elevated in the air as well? Like, just keeping it in the air, like, just in case someone comes along and forges
It's like
on
a
an
Looney
anvil.
Tunes sketch.
It's for the elves that operate in the sky. You got to keep it up there for them.
No, but
Yeah,
is Sauron's plan to be so stupid that Celebrimbor's like a dad going, "Right, I'm going to come in and do it myself. You've got everything wrong."
Yeah.
What's that logic of the internet? Don't ask the answer for the answer to a question. Just state the wrong answer, and then you'll get the correct one.
Oh,
So
should have done
his
that to my
plan, that's
teacher back in the day.
deceiving.
Because
All of
people
this
can't
stuff is well,
stand an announcement of wrong information. You'd be like, "Fucking no, that's not what it is," and that's what Celebrimbor's doing. He's like, "Wow, you made some goofy ass retarded rings, bro. Let me make them."
I like that's his plan. His plan is basically to be so retarded, Celebrimbor gets angry and has to help him.
No, dummy, you obviously add mithril after you add the copper. God,
I mean, surely the solution here is like, okay, the dwarf rings are compromised. Let's recall them, melt them down, and we'll start again. We'll just make some new ones for them. That's fine.
Well, I know this is there's so much they don't entertain. When they get the news, they don't even entertain the fact that maybe your dad is like a power hungry monster. That could be something. It may not even be the rings. But of course, we know it is, and we just want to skip to in the fucking story to where they realize that, because I don't think Celebrimbor's along for this season, so we're gonna have to get all the distrust stuff going, you know.
There's a lot of retarded stuff going on, especially in the Dwarven realm. When Disa drops a fucking crystal ball, it falls down to the lowest level of Moria, And then it's like, oh, there's a fucking Balrog in here.
Man,
like
we are so lucky the Balrog is within hearing distance, but he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right next to the market. There's
Yeah.
a mine shaft right next to the market. No kid goes down.
That feels like they know they're not allowed the Balrog yet, but they really want to show it. They're like, hey, he's there.
Well, they showed it at the end of last season.
Yeah, I was
That's what I'm saying, though.
They've obviously established it as a thing, and it's
but
like
they can't use him yet.
Yeah, but
You
this
can't like
is
crash around, destroy everything yet.
But this again, this isn't the way things played out. Like they weren't warned in advance. Like, oh, there's a fucking evil thing down there, and then the
drink it.
dwarves just said, like, well, let's just keep digging anyway.
They're not heeding the warnings. They delve too greedily and too deeply.
They showed the door. They showed the door from the movies. Remember the one that says "Speak,
so
friend"?
dude.
It was a remember berry on top of a he vadered on top of a key jangle. Like they did 3 different levels of it.
I was just
Also, like I was under the impression the door was
like
like carved out of the mountainside, like it wasn't made somewhere else and then just fucking welded into.
I guess they glued it in. Yeah, I don't know how that works.
The stone.
Glued it.
Yeah.
It very much felt like one of the most overt examples of you like the Lord of the Rings movies, don't you? Yeah.
MauLer and dialogue wise, it seems like someone said, okay, Gandalf says this, so now let's have someone say almost that exact same thing with a slightly different tone of voice.
There was a few of those in that episode, actually, a few quotes again where I was like, stop taking them. And not to mention, like, it feels like they're rushing every fucking ring. We all know this based on how it's supposed to go in the source, but whenever they talk about the men's rings, all me and Free would talk about this. We're just thinking about it's like they want to get the ring race as soon as possible. They are fucking rushing that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does anyone think they're going to be queens?
Too stunning, too brave, or is would that backfire? Can they have the evil?
Women can't be corrupted, Reaper. Like they are flawless, and so
Galadriel begs to differ.
That's one of those great examples where we know she's an asshole, but the show doesn't. Because I was genuinely rooting for that orc there that had her like a knife point. It's like,
what was that scene where they undo a cage, she jumps forward, and they all take a step back?
Yeah.
It's like they've got to show that they're afraid of her. It's like she's fucking unarmed.
She's never in a weakened position. Even when she's a fucking prisoner, she takes a Dar hostage with the tiniest knife that's in her hair. Like, why would you put that there?
Yeah, Elrond saves her for a second. The last episode where she falls down, he kills her, but she immediately stands up and like kills one instantly. Like, I was fine. I didn't need your help.
And then lectures him.
Yeah.
But you guys did recognize the orc that held the knife to her throat to begin with, right? That was Daddy Orc. Yeah. I'm just hoping he gets back home to his quiet little life with his.
Yeah, I want this guy to have an entire character arc. Please,
good people.
I want him to do a really tragic deth for him.
This is the thing. This is what I never realized.
It's like he's dying, like bleeding black blood. Like, tell my wife I love her.
His wife's expecting a second child.
Where's that show? Where's my family sitcom of orc matters, like Family Matters, but orcs? Just a hard day.
I'll never see young mudgluts grow up to be a fine orc.
After my dad Mudglut.
It's like one of those things. Apparently, they do procreate, and it wouldn't be in the most consensual way, if you catch my meaning. Because they're horrible, evil creatures, and the children would just literally be demon spawn that would grow up to continue the line of horrible, evil orcs. Because that's what orcs are.
I mean, I never quite got what they were doing in the movies, where the orcs seem to sort of grow out of the mud.
I thought
in
that
the
was
ground.
Urukai.
Like,
that it's a regular orcs, right? Like upgraded, born under the.
Yeah, I guess.
Because some orcs are manipulated elves, and some were created. So there are different.
Orchard.
Yeah.
Well, the books were always a bit hazy about that. They were like, general orcs are descended from elves that were like warped and corrupted and stuff. But the Urukai are meant to be almost like orcs on steroids that have just been perfected into the ultimate killing machines. But
mud babies.
There's always dark magic at play, so you never really knew.
Yeah. Dark
cloning magic. You're not going to claim it was done with light magic, are you? These are done with all the friendly magic. Friendly magic.
I love it as well. Like, the Palantir that they're using in Numenor, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is such a misuse of this thing, because it's not meant to be some like magical fortune telling device that will tell you what's going to happen in the future. It's supposed to just show you what's happening right now. It's like the Google News or something of Middle Earth, and it can be manipulated so it can show you things that are warped versions of what's actually going on, but it can't show you the future. That's not what it's for. But in this show, yeah, sure it is. Of course it is.
What's like Galadriel? Because they've clearly took the what's that? Well, Galadriel shows Frodo.
Oh yeah, it's
Galadriel's
like a pool or something.
So they've mixed that with the Palant&iacute, and the thing is though, like it psychically repels people. But the thing is though, it's like Sauron is the thing that fucks with Merry in the film. It's not the actual Palant&iacute.
Right. It's the connection to Sauron.
Yeah, it's Sauron going through the Palant&iacute and grabbing him.
Yeah.
Whereas they mix all these things up.
The same Wi-Fi network, MauLer,
Yeah.
I can't remember if they did this in the movies, but like Denethor had a Palantir in Minas Tirith as well in the books. And although it wasn't like he was strong enough like mentally that like Sauron couldn't like control him or anything, and he couldn't show him things that didn't exist. He could show him like the worst possible version of reality where like he would just see like enormous armies of orcs just massing on his borders, and it would slowly like sap his will to keep going and his will
he just kept showing Faramir. He just kept showing Faramir being happy. And he's going, no!
Yeah, I hate that motherfucker.
It's the most straightforward thing when they introduce it in the movies, which I feel like is the excuse they could have to understand this footage. Gandalf says, they're not all accounted for, and we don't know who else is watching.
Yeah.
It's the simplest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then you see Aragorn use it. He uses it to talk to Sauron, and basically threaten him.
Yeah. Well, in the books, like he uses it for like an entire night. Like he's at it like for hours, wrestling to get control of it, because they can be used to see the world beyond like where you're at, and you can kind of spy on things that are going on if you can wrest control of it. And that's what he eventually manages to do, but it takes him like an entire night, and he's exhausted by the end of it.
That's why Saruman always looks like he's fighting to weave his way through it.
Yeah, because I think that's they imply like that's how he was corrupted initially. He started to use it like out of desperation to understand more what was going on with the ring, and that's how Sauron corrupted him.
Well, I mean, it's literally like when Gandalf puts the cover on it and he briefly touches it and feels it. It's like looking at someone's last call. It was with Hitler. It's like, why?
Yeah.
What?
it's like looking at Vosh's browsing history.
Oh
no! As described, it seems like the internet. No wonder he spent all night on it, trying to master it. He got corrupted by it.
You find that out. Saruman is like, Sauron isn't that bad, Gandalf. Honestly,
Sauron was on 4chan.
I mean, he might be evil, but he's not fucking perverted. Yeah. So it's fine. Yeah, man. It's.
Well, the thing is, the plant, I was just saying, where the queen can touch it with her hands, but when Isildur's fake sister grabs it, she has to use a cloth, and everyone else touching it seems to fly backwards. Yeah, so is she like the chosen one?
What is the fucking arc with her character?
She was insufferable. She took such pleasure.
Everything is supposed to be motivated by the death of Isildur. That's apparently how she justifies all this, which makes no fucking sense at all. She's so annoyed at Muriel for taking them all out there and getting him killed. It's like, does she not know a single detail? Crazy monster orc creatures have taken over a huge portion of land that used to belong to people we could consider kin, who were very friendly, very happy, all innocent people. They all got slaughtered. And Isildur, your beloved brother, died saving people, right? From her POV. It's like, what exactly? Like, you're mad at Muriel for trying to help you? She got blinded trying to save people's lives. I don't understand this. Like, the tree is so fucking manufactured. They wouldn't be this mad at her. They would be like, she's not a great leader, sure. But like the idea that like, you killed Isildur with your stupid fucking orb. Like,
but these are the people that decide who the king is.
Wise as well, like.
But they decide who the king is because a fucking eagle flew in the room and he happened to be standing next to it.
Didn't explain shit of why that eagle showed up. It just sat there and stared at everyone. Okay.
It was like Life of Brian, where they're just making up lore to go along with this.
It's like the hippogriff. have to bow with the eagle, and then the eagle will bow back.
You know for a fucking fact they cut a scene out where Farazan met the eagle in an alley and handed him a bag of gold.
Yeah. No, a pack of birdseed or something. Like, you show up on Coronation Day and there'll be more seed for you. You know?
I'll show up. Just don't ask me to fly to Mordor. We don't do that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just it's weird, inexplicable stuff like that. And the thing is, I get the impression that the actor playing Farazan is actually quite good. That's why, again, like when we got to see him just doing regular stuff and plotting away in this episode, I was like, oh, okay, this isn't terrible. I'm interested to see where he's going with this.
You didn't think it was terrible? I thought it was terrible.
Like, well, the storyline was pretty terrible, but like,
I'll give you the actor. It seems like he could be doing a hell of a lot better stuff. I was quite bored with him with the scene with his son where he became like just a strict bad guy. Like he's not interested. He's like losing the sliver of interest I had in him is starting to seep out because he's becoming more and more fashy. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna do all.
I think his intention there was like, son, I need you to provoke Elendil to like attack you so that we've got justification to imprison him and then have him executed. Because that's what he's going to do throughout the episode.
This is what I mean about like there's just nothing clever about it though, because his plan could easily cause an enormous civil war that gets him and his son killed.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you really want to take Elendil out, there's easier ways to do it. Like, just arrest him on some minor misdemeanor and like, oh, he was killed by a random guy on transport to prison or something, or catch him in an alleyway and just have someone knife him.
Literally, yeah. All those are better plans. If you want to not kill him and capture him, you could just make a claim, be like, he actually was trying to kill Farazan. We actually caught him trying to assassinate him. And who's going to know?
They also made it seem like he could have just incited, like, no, I'm in charge, and people were loyal enough that they might have just fallen in rank and chosen him, but he did not go that route.
Well, I think ultimately, because what this amounts to is a coup. Like, it's a coup, like veiled behind like a bit of like bullshit, like with the eagles and stuff. But ultimately, he's wrested power from Queen Muriel. And so when you do that, you basically have to like canvass everyone around you, every high-ranking military guy, every government official, and say, which side are you on? Decide now, because if you're not with me, you're against me, and I'm going to have you killed.
Well, didn't they try to lynch her at their own coronation? Every noble just went, kill her, and you were all just trying to get her.
Yeah.
Do it. Kill her.
If you have loyalty to Muriel, we're taking your rank and your weapons. It's like one of the first steps he does. I was already just like, dude, Civil War? Like immediately? No? We really pushing some buttons here that could ends up... Like I said, none of it seems that he doesn't seem clever at all. It seems so rushed and crazy. And of course, by the time you hit the end of the episode, crazy shit does happen.
Oh my god.
Help me out as well. Is she blind or not? Because I feel like at this point it's getting really confused.
She's blind. She's just 50-50 on acting like it.
Okay, because like her eyes are always on the thing that she's meant to be looking at, if you know what I mean. Like the actress isn't really acting like a blind person.
She grabs his arm as he's walking away. She grabs him.
Yeah, and it's like whenever she's talking to him, she's looking right into his eyes, like she can, like clearly she can actually see him. It's like
just slightly more intense.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen the promo for episode 6?
I have not.
Because speaking of a character arc, she sinks in a pool and meets the giant monster that blew up the ship that Sauron was on.
Oh, okay.
So I think you're gonna get. Well, yeah. If you see the trailer, she sinks down into a pond, and that giant monster pops up, and I think the monster's probably going to try and sink the islands because they won't have any religion in the show. They'll just be faithful, but to the queen, to something material. There'll be no religion because the writers just don't like her. So there'll be an actual physical reason why Numenor sinks.
No,
I thought it was a volcanic eruption.
No, I think what the writers are going to do is the monster's going to do it.
I don't know, because the monster's not that big. I don't think it can destroy an entire island by itself. Yeah. I don't know if like
there'll be something physical.
Something's gonna, I think she'll tame it or something, and she'll fucking ride it all the way over to Middle Earth or something stupid like that.
Like
honestly, I wouldn't put it past these people.
But like you can see her sinking. She sinks into this pool in the spiritual ritual, and there's a giant monster. And it's like, well, what other purpose is this monster going to do? Because they're all on land. The only thing I can think of is that it takes part. It's like what's that Egyptian thing where you have to keep that snake from eating the world every night?
I mean,
I know what you're talking about.
Separate, but yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be like that, where the queen will have a responsibility to stop the monster from destroying the islands, and because he won't do it, he's not faithful. It'll be something stupid like that, I think, because it won't be the gods sinking it.
I was gonna say, 'cause that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be no religion. It'll be mechanical because these people just believe in nothing but mechanics.
Yeah,
I think you could be
always
right.
right.
But I will say, like, this is an episode that didn't have the hobbits in it. It didn't
thank
have
God.
not Gandalf.
So good.
Yeah.
It didn't have really, like, functionally, it didn't have Galadriel in it until the last like 30 seconds, and so it essentially removed the most insufferable components of itself. And this is where we're at, where it's like, oh, this is probably the best episode that they've made.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, best is like obviously a difficult word to use in this context, but like it's the least bad.
Well, can we talk about the dwarves as quickly as possible? I was just going to ask because I thought I missed something.
It did have D's on it, yeah.
What's his name? During the fourth says, Father, we can't burst these walls because they're foundational. And then they show the wall burst and it's at the fucking peak of a mountain.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How'd you get a foundation at the roof?
How did I was so confused.
But they're going, where are we going to dig for light? I go, how about upwards where the sky is? It's the most obvious place to dig. They start digging
again,
downwards. Going,
everything's condensed down into this like really simple format that we can see, where it's like he hacks away at the wall for 5 minutes, and then it's just boom, sunlight right there. You're in the sky.
Well, they treat him like he has lost his fucking mind. They're like, everyone just back away, let the old man attack away at a wall, even though we think it might crumble the entire fucking thing. I didn't believe it at all. When during the fourth, it's like, no, we can't do that. Like, it'll be catastrophic. And then the other guy's like, everyone get out, get out, get out. I was like, that's your dad. You would stop him.
And the king.
Well,
yeah.
In a sense, you could say that's 50-50 and the king has ultimate authority. But, I'm willing to say that there's enough motivation for during the fourth to be like, I can't let you die. I'm not going to let this happen. But they just watch him for ages, like going until he gets the light. And I was like, oh, wow, that worked out because this is clearly not a foundational wall. And how would you guys think it was? Do you not know about your own mountain?
Well, the writers don't. They don't understand buildings, I suppose.
God, I get disappointed all the time with how they portray dwarves.
Disa saying the ring was cheating.
Yeah, that's right. And then, like, I mean, as if they weren't depicted like not doing their jobs the last time they were singing. Last time they were singing to the mountain, and then they just turned around and went,
you know, the line that made me laugh as well was the moment where they, Durin, like having restored sunlight to the inside of the mountain, he was like, now the sun will no longer be our master. We will no longer live under its tyranny. And I was just thinking, you understand that the sun still like rises and sets, right? Like there will still be nighttime.
He literally says, not quite. I am, I'm not directly quoting, but he says, "I pity the fool who needs sunlight." He was like, like all the people who live on the surface, like we don't bend to sunlight like they do. But we do need sunlight, so yeah. They just have to go. They have to go more out of their way to find sunlight than everyone else. But they try. It's a lot of dwarf coping. They're just trying to say that, like, oh, because we go through more effort to find sunlight, it is our master, not we his.
Over the potential for any interesting conversations. You have a man who's desperately losing his whole kingdom for reasons beyond I could ever understand. That everyone is dying of fucking thirst and starvation, whatever. Gets a ring from the elves, and then he's like, we overcame our difficulties. It's like, bro, and it's clearly making him insane. The fact that he said, who put these ridiculous restrictions here? It's like, you did.
You did.
Like, what? I was just saying, like, how nobody's doing anything or saying anything to him. And I was a little disappointed. I was like, this ring is almost as bad as the fucking One Ring for corruption. Like,
he manages to take it off. He's still crazy after he takes it off.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, he wasn't wearing it at the time, was he?
But forgot.
But I think it's the same with the One Ring, where like you can take it off and it will still have its hold on you.
It's been like 2 days. He's like, that's my ring.
Well, I think because we're kind of making up lore as we go along with this show, because like I don't think it was really implied that like the lesser rings, like the 7, the 3, the 9. That they themselves had any corrupting influence on people. They didn't like grab a hold of you. They didn't preoccupy you or anything. It was the One Ring that did that. And that hasn't even been made yet.
So it's
but
like
this
a
is
switch.
just like, yeah, like in this, they're just trying to fast track everything and say like, wow, you know, the 7 rings are already corrupted by Sauron, so they're basically like mini versions of the 1 ring already, like, and they will gradually get you.
The word's already gotten back from fucking Khazad-dûm to Celebrimbor that the 7 Dwarven rings are corrupt. It's like, what?
Yes,
we just fucking made them, and that, like, goddamn, we're
yeah,
rushing
but like
the story.
we can fast track everything in this.
Yeah.
Like distances don't mean anything.
Also, Drinker, I don't know if you've seen, but I've emailed you a meme. Now, unfortunately, this episode debunked this meme that I'm very fond of.
No, I need to get
I don't know if you can.
Just while I'm looking this up, by the way, I know that Chris, you are almost out of time with us because you only had like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But,
This show sounds terrible. I watched I watched the first episode only of the new season and fell asleep. I don't care. And I think the reason this show doesn't resonate with anyone, unlike the Peter Jackson films, which till today are still beloved, it is the characters. You can have like Beetlejuice being an example. You like the characters so much, you're invested, even if the story is ridiculous and makes no sense. This story is ridiculous, makes no sense, is lore breaking, is stupid, and none of the characters are likable or relatable. Is that accurate?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm just saying, like you can have flaws in the story, flaws in the lore, all that. When you love the characters and the characters are true, I mean, this is why all this stuff sucks. Star Trek, Star Wars, the characters were never true and weren't consistent. Because you'll excuse weird story stuff. Anyways, I watched 1 episode. I fell asleep. I find the music and sound design very soothing, like one of those calm like videos you put on to make you fall asleep. That's this show. So at its best, it's a screensaver. And with that, love all you guys. I subbed you all your channels, except for Reaper and Johnny Law are new. I'll have to.
Yeah, you do not want to sub to me.
Okay, I'll take your
misery, anger.
But I'm Film Threat, so follow me and sub to my channel, and I just appreciate being included, drinkers. So thank you very much.
No, thank you, Chris. It's always good to have you on, man. Appreciate you coming here.
Very inclusive panel.
Yes, quick recommendation. A movie called Am I Racist is out this weekend. It's very funny. I've seen it. Just a little recommend. Am I Racist?
Yes, the Daily Wire that made that. Matt Walsh.
I have a question I need answered.
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
Entertaining. So long, gay boy.
Bye, Chris. Love you.
Yeah, Chris.
What a way to sign out. Yeah, Johnny, you sent me a meme, so here it is. I will.
Yeah, so this was unfortunately debunked during this episode because Disa was one of the only people. Actually, so it turns out she's not finna get some of them rangs. She was actually warning. Yeah, she was. She's actually warning during not to wear the ring.
Don't they have she explicitly says to Durin, don't promise me you won't wear those rings. And he goes, okay.
You know, it's funny as well because like he points out to her at one point, like, you are the one who fucking pushed relentlessly for this, like to get my father to acknowledge this, to get the ring into his hands. This is essentially all your fault. You made this happen. And she's like, yeah, well, okay, so what? Let's move on. I think that's it. Like, there's no acknowledgement of like, yeah, I kind of fucked up here, and maybe I shouldn't have pushed so hard for this. Maybe I shouldn't have been so self-righteous. Maybe I shouldn't have strong-armed you into like manipulating your father into getting this ring that's slowly driving him insane. None of that. It's just like, yeah, okay. Stop pointing out that I'm wrong. Okay, stop being such a dick. Let's move on from this.
5 minutes ago.
It's actually getting like complicated in how it's broken because I think even in her switches in mindset, none of them make any sense with each one. So like we mentioned it earlier, but her saying it feels like cheating when her civilization, the people, they're now happier and healthier than they were just days ago, feels out of character for her. Like, who the fuck cares that you've got light, bitch? People are living happier.
She literally says, like, in in essence, she says like, the survival of our kind doesn't matter if I can't be shit at my job during the process. She's like, it's cheating. It's like,
she's mad about failing the stone singing, but it's like, you were given every chance, and you personally destroyed the last fucking mirror. Like, what? Fuck off. We're going to use the ring, okay? And, calling it cheating, but it's just like punching holes in the fucking wall. Whatever. Like, why is that so much worse than singing?
Yeah, they were singing, like, Dura just went, there.
But then, like I said, I feel like there should be some discussion, some council of fucking dwarves to be like, so the elves gave us the power to do all of this. What have we given them? What does this mean? And do they, Durin's been acting fucking weird, man. Almost in a way that, like, they may have some kind of magical spell on him. That would be worrying, wouldn't it, if the elves have control of Khazad-dûm?
Yeah, when he grabs the ring of that guy, when the guy goes to reach, he goes, "Not for you." He grabs it. And they're going, "Well, he seems perfectly fine."
Yeah, he's saying,
put all the rings on and fire a laser.
All his fingers, yeah.
I'm sure that's how it works.
Oh, by the way, do you know who the guy is? The Delve Master, that other that other dwarf. Like, do you know who the actor for that is? Because I only saw who it was the other day, and he is completely unrecognizable.
No, who is
it? Great question. Don't know his name, but I know his face.
They didn't have an answer. I was hoping you would tell me.
Yeah. No, I think they keep coming up with reasons to back up plot points that existed in the movies and books, but that did not need backing up. Like, we know the rings are bad, but now let's show you why they're bad, and then do it badly.
They're doing it so fast, man. Like, it's funny how fast it's going.
Yeah. How long do they have those rings, right?
Right now.
Well, don't they have 5 seasons? They have 5 seasons confirmed. What are the next 3? You've already got Ring Wraiths. You've already got the Balrog. You've already got everyone's corrupted.
The show moves at a fucking glacial pace, but then it'll just drop a whole bunch of events in a row. But like, the rings for dwarves are made. They're corrupting the dwarves. All the dwarves always had them. Good. And it's like, what?
You've only got 2 events, which is the Fall of Numenor and the War of the Last Alliance.
Yeah, next episode we'll have the rings.
We've got the Fall of Eregion as well. Is that not
That's the season?
Season 5 has to lead into Fellowship, right? In the very beginning, right? Of that we see of that last battle.
Is season 4 just going to be like a bunch of other stuff?
They make
like just Gollum for 200 years.
Oh my god! Then we'll have the crossover for the Hunt for Gollum movie. That'll be great. Can't wait for that promotion.
Well, it's like conflicting studios, fighting for control of this IP. It's such a weird legal situation that they're in now, where
who can ruin
they all
more?
own little pieces of it.
Drinker, what's interesting about that is I had a friend who didn't know about the Gollum 2-part of films they're making. I mentioned it to him, and then they said, "Fuck, the Rings of Power people are making movies as well." And I was like, "No, actually, these are different." And then I thought to myself, like, "Fuck, most people aren't going to know. Most people will associate Rings of Power with those, but like they'll be like, oh fuck, is these people doing this thing?" When in fact, it's actually like competition in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose because it's been like, 12, 13 years since we had the Hobbit trilogy, so it's a long time in terms of people's collective memory. They will just associate it with Rings of Power instead. And then we've got War of the Rohirrim as well, which is this weird offshoot anime thing, which I don't think any of us are particularly enthusiastic for.
Not really. Honed in on the one daughter that was unnamed and there was no details. It's like, nope, that's the protagonist right there.
What are the odds, that they would pick that basically unnamed female character that barely got a mention in Tolkien lore?
Well, they're just repeating Eowyn's story.
There is quite a bit of that.
She's even wearing white. She's wearing what the White Lady of Rohan wore, because it's just a complete copy of her story.
I thought it was a wedding dress at the end that she's just straight up puts on, like a little on the nose, but yeah, it's gonna be great for content.
Oh yeah.
What's Helm Hammerhand gonna do? Is he just because it looks like he's in prison all film?
She'll show him the way and she'll save him and basically inspire him to be the man he is. Like, we talked about this before as well. Like, when it comes to the War of the Last Alliance and Isildur has to cut the ring from Sauron's hand, we're kind of theorizing ways that they can actually work Galadriel into that scenario where she's actually responsible for everything. Is he going to Arya Stark him? Is he going to run up and just stab him from the back? There's
He's
going to
gonna
be something.
drop the
Honestly,
blade.
I wouldn't be surprised if like she's there, she actually wins the battle for them, and then she just vanishes and she's like, "You can't tell anyone about this," and then just runs away.
Galadriel, you're saw by everyone.
On this logic, by the way, because I've recently beat Star Wars Outlaws, highly recommend. Only
beat
if
the
you wanna kill
game?
yourself.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, beat it, but by the end, you get into like the big payoff in the story, and me and chat was so excited. And you have a team constructed, right, to conduct your big old heist, and it's constructed of a bunch of aliens, a robot, 3 women, and 1 pretty well groomed white guy. And we were like, he's gonna betray us. And like you complete the job, you all end up back. We're all standing in a room, and it's like he's gonna betray us. Wait for it, he's gonna betray. And he's like, the truth is, we're like, yeah, here we go. He's gonna betray us.
Didn't the
Every
main
single
villain have like, a
time.
diverse? Didn't the main villain have a diverse bodyguard? And I just went from the trailer, she's gonna turn out good or on their side. Is that actually what happens?
Wait, who now?
The main villain, he has the baldy, diverse woman bodyguard.
Oh, you're talking? Yeah, she turns out to be a good guy.
I said that from the
Yeah.
trailer.
There you go.
Bingo. It's a
Fucking
bingo
called
card.
it.
Yeah.
You
See,
give
on
her
the
like
same-
the
that's-
crown
no,
jewel
I'm
that you steal at the
expecting-
end. It's insane.
I'm expecting that same character arc from Family Orc, by the way. He is
Did you
gonna
actually
have
get to play as an outlaw? Like, or did they make you join the
No.
Rebel Alliance?
No, every single so you can like there's a steal mechanic in the game, but they only let you steal from stormtroopers and like overtly bad guys. And every once in a while, you might be able to steal from some random person. But say, for example, you drive in past someone who's getting shot by Hut, associates because they're trying to steal their shit. You can't jump in and be like, "Yeah, let's go, Jabba. Yes, let's steal these innocent people's stuff." You have to. They force you to go against Jabba every time.
I would want GTA Star Wars if that's what we're gonna do and have me be a smuggler criminal.
But nothing, it's all on rails. And if you try and step off the rails, the game will sometimes outright break to the point where it'll send you back to the fucking XMB on PS5 or whatever. But a lot of the time, it just says like, "Please return to the game area" when you try to do anything like different or interesting.
I think my favorite like little clip from your playthroughs was where you straight up went, "All right, let's see what this planet has to offer us." They get on a speeder bike, head off. Within like 3 seconds, it's like, "Return to the combat area, please." Like literally forces you to turn around.
You're having fun, wrong?
Yes,
Yeah.
not having fun enough.
Lord, did you? Don't do that here.
Yeah, it's like, stop trying to go off the rails. Stop trying to go outside the realms of our story. Do what we want.
Yeah,
That's
open
hilarious, man. Yeah, it's but yeah, going back to that point that Reaper made there, it's like almost you can essentially predict what any character's motivations and their ultimate like arc is going to be just based on their demographics.
Yeah.
Like if they're diverse, if they're a woman, if they're gay, if they're all of those things, they will never ever be a bad person. Ultimately, they'll always turn out to be good. And so
Although
like
they will be bad, they just won't know it. We'll all consider them evil.
well, yeah, like the story won't see them as bad, but like
Yeah.
they'll probably seem like shitty people from like a normal person's perspective, but the story doesn't want you to think that.
It's like Galadriel.
No, they're really
Pretty much.
incapable of making bad characters. The last couple times they've tried to make evil characters, they've unironically been the good version, and the good people were unironically the evil. It's like they don't even know.
John Walker, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
John Walker.
John Walker
great
did
example of
nothing
that.
wrong.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen, but the chat is currently coming up with titles for.
Oh, this
the,
happened back in the day when we were talking about the orcs just finding to.
Yeah.
Yes, they've been doing the yeah.
They're coming up with spin-off names for the.
It's
orc,
great.
For the orc
Yeah, married
story.
with orcs. Yeah.
Fear and
Agatha
Loathing in
Orcness.
Mordor.
Yeah.
Orca Ventura, that's a good one.
It's funny. You could do this
Shine
in
on,
Star
you
Trek
crazy
too with
orc.
Gorn. That's the other thing they do. You just put Gorn in everything.
Dude, where's my orc? That's a good one.
Orcs wide shut.
No country for old orcs. That's a
great.
There's
There we
so
go.
many. I'm trying to get through them all.
12 Angry Orcs. That's a good one. Mordor, she wrote. I like that one.
Good orc hunting.
All be better than what we got.
Orc 47 orcs.
Crazy rich orcs.
Oh, wait,
where
there
they
we
all
go.
go to Singapore. That'd be a
Doctor
good one.
Strange orc.
Yep, yep.
How I
Orc
learned to stop
Awakens.
worrying and love Mordor.
It's Orc, James Orc.
Kindergarten orc. Oh my god, they never stop.
Orcageddon. Yeah.
Yeah,
What could
2001
get
and
Lord of
Odyssey.
Orcs.
It's good stuff,
When-
chat. It's good stuff.
When the Rings
Yeah.
of Power ends, what do you think Amazon's going to do with the franchise?
File for bankruptcy.
Probably, yeah, probably.
I mean, is it even a fucking blip on their radar considering the Empire? How much money does this actually burn for them, I wonder?
It's a vanity project, isn't it?
Financially, yeah, financially, I don't think it's going to matter too much. It's a prestige thing, though. Like, if you're trying to really make a mark on the streaming landscape, and this was going to be your big tentpole franchise, and you fuck it up, and just becomes an object of mockery, well, that's a tough one to move past.
Do you think Jeff Bezos' son still talks to him? Because remember, he was like, "Dad, I really like Lord of the Rings. Don't mess it up.
Don't fuck it up." Yeah.
I mean, if any of us were fucking in that position, could you imagine? Just be like, we need to talk. I need you to have 5 hours available. We need to go through this.
You need.
I mean, how
public
connected
apology.
do you think? How connected do you think Jeff Bezos even is to this show?
Well,
I think he was, because he has been pictured with promo material for the
and he could
but
probably
he could show up
things if he wanted to, right? Like if he really wanted to, he could probably get in there and fucking change things. But
I'm sure he could if he wanted to, but I don't get the impression that he's like a movie producer or he has any particular story ideas or
I
anything.
feel like
I think he's...
any kind of major course correction from Amazon now says, yes, everyone was right about the show. It is garbage. So I think they just blindly,
like Acolyte when they canceled that and all the bigots were proven. Yeah.
Like when you're not as passionate as we are about this sort of stuff, I have a feeling someone like a Jeff Bezos maybe watches the Lord of the Rings trilogy, that watches Rings of Power, and he's just like, "That's all great. Look at all that. Yes, entertainment, woohoo!" And you're like, "Bro, that is so much worse than the other thing." And he's like, "Oh," and then he looks at the numbers, looks at people's ratings, and he goes, "Yes, apparently we failed. We did. Whoops." And has no idea why, or no idea how
as
it
much
works.
viewership as the last season that didn't have anything to write home about. Yeah.
Well, we still got 3 more seasons.
There's no way. There's just no way. They can't get through it.
37% didn't finish the first season, and I bet you it's going to be a much smaller one on the second.
Well, what was it? 900,000 were watching the premiere of this season,
dude.
Right?
Compared to 1.
That's less than watch my review of it.
Yeah.
I know we can't get these numbers, but I wish we could get a wizard to tell us exactly how many minutes were watched and cared about by people in total compared to something that's good. Just the rawest number possible of how this actually performed. Because saying 37% completed it, I'm like, for real? Seriously? They got through the whole thing? I fucking had trouble getting through the whole thing.
Do you think they fell asleep?
Ooh, yeah, they did it at Chris Gore. They just gored it out and just
Well, yeah, because it'll auto play the next episode. So,
so just 37% of people unconscious. The other
wait, hang on. Does it actually auto play next episode?
Yeah, they will.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's it.
And if you have a set to not interrupt. The sad thing is Bear McCreary, who was great in Battlestar Galactica music and other things, is just so forgettable in this. Like,
oh god,
not a single track where I just thought oh wow, that's iconic.
How?
No.
It's just terrible. It's
like
there's no
don't hit very hard, and it's all very paint by numbers. So if a dwarf scene starts, you'll hear the Khazad-dûm theme come up in some way, and that'll be that.
Yeah, but the thing is, even those themes don't have the motifs.
No, they don't.
The Jackson trilogy had. Like, I know we can't base everything on the Jackson trilogy because the track obviously that isn't Tolkien, but it's. Yeah, there's just no character to it at all. It is just. But then, have you seen the main composer he's worked on a number of other things, and when you see what he's worked on, it's like I get it.
Bear McCreary at this point seems to be a hired gun that when he gives a shit, he'll put in a great soundtrack. When he doesn't,
God of War was pretty good, right?
I fucking loved the God of War.
I think there was nothing great for him here to look and feel something, to really truly compose something that makes us feel something, and so we got what we got.
He's spoken publicly about working on the God of War stuff, that it was like a passion project. He really enjoyed it. You'd go to the script to get inspiration for how to write these songs. If you listen to the songs, they're all very dynamic. They change. They're very associated with the worlds that they built with. Rings of Power, you sometimes forget there's a fucking soundtrack. You're like,
I forget there's music. It doesn't even hold me.
Whereas Howard Shore, when you listen to Howard Shore, he makes traveling entertaining.
Well, he made the main theme, right?
Yeah, the beacons of Minas Tirith being lit. It's just a bunch of fires being set, but that soundtrack and the landscape shots are so engaging.
Well, even in Fellowship, where it's literally just them walking through a mountain pass, it somehow just becomes this epic moment of cinema.
When they pass between the rocks and you see each one of them.
Yeah.
That's the problem, Johnny. I know we shouldn't compare it to Peter, but that was the best examples we've got of how to do it.
The thing is,
Like,
they've got a budget. They've got a budget that's in excess of the movies.
The budget is just
and there is a direct comparison. Howard Shore made the main theme for Rings of Power, but it sucks.
Okay.
It's right. I mean, that's the thing. Like you're right, because like it's easy enough to say, "Oh, well, it sucks," but like when you think about what emotions does it evoke, it's so apathetic. It's so just generic, like fantasy music of something is going on, but there's no real sense of like drama or intrigue or urgency. Nothing. It's just
as opposed to like Skyrim. The beginning of Skyrim, that gets you hyped, sort of tells a story, dun, 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 makes you like feel compelled to go into the world. None of that from a Lord of the Rings.
The worst one's gonna be the intro. The intro music is like a soap opera.
Yeah, even compare it to like Game of Thrones. The intro for that, like it grabs you immediately. It tells you, like, it gives you a good sense emotionally of like what this world is, what it feels like.
It's that strong motif as well. Like it is. I know it's simple, but people like something that they can remember. And there's just like, can any of you hum any bits of any song from any of the show?
I can't even remember. I can't even remember it.
It's so
just
funny is
nothing.
I usually remember the Casa Doom theme, but I've forgotten it.
I got Fus Ro Da now stuck in my head. Sorry, I got Skyrim because I started thinking about it.
Yeah,
but that's what you have to do, and they didn't do that. Yeah, Game of Thrones.
There was a bit as well that I had to like. I know this wasn't intentional, but the juxtaposition is amazing. Like where they're Elrond finally gets back to Gil-galad, and like he's saying, like we have to march on Eregion immediately. We have to send all of our armies to defeat Adar and to root out Sauron. And Gil-galad says, like, our armies have already been sent elsewhere. We cannot defeat Sauron and Adar at the same time because they're so overwhelming in their forces. And then literally the very next scene it shows you is Galadriel being brought into an orc encampment. And I swear there's about 20 extras there. That's all they have.
Yeah.
This is the fucking overwhelming orc army that they can't possibly.
And they had the balls to cut to a wide shot as well. So you could really see that it was only 20 people.
Just to be absolutely clear, right? After the prologue of this season, the first scene we see is two characters very quickly traveling from Lindon to Eregion. That trip, right,
is enormous.
Not just that, but it is the most important trip that has not, but needed to be made throughout all of these episodes. When they come to Gil-galad and they're like, dude, we need to go to Mordor. That's where Sauron is. We've got to get him. We've got to take him out. And it's like, just go to Eregion. Just go to Eregion. Come back. Just go check on Celebrimbor.
There has been a lot of liberties.
5 fucking episodes where you guys won't go check Eregion. What's wrong with you? So they're like,
nah, they did travel thing in a lot. Acolyte too. They did is like they forgot about space lanes and hyper, travel times. No, just go anywhere in like 5 minutes.
This is what kills your immersion in a world like this more than anything else. Is when you stop taking into account distances, time, space, anything. People can just morph from place to place immediately whenever the plot needs them to. That's when the audience checks out, because it's like, okay, nothing means anything anymore. It's just a bunch of disconnected places that people can teleport between. That's all we got.
I think it's a combination of the misuse of the map itself, and I think I'll also attribute it to like CG sets. It feels small. The world Middle Earth feels small.
It feels empty.
Yep.
It feels minuscule, and then
armies feel small.
Yeah, they've been taking so many liberties with the it's like all of a sudden now apparently hobbits are no longer from the Vales. They're now from apparently they're way out in Rune. That is a huge space in Middle Earth that they're suddenly.
Yeah, and they're from Rune, but it's like they got there in the space of a day. As far as we're concerned, like, because it all just happens from one episode to the next, and there's no sense of time, progression, distance, anything.
Yeah, and then
the hobbits.
And so like this world, like, and the other thing is like every fucking place looks exactly like every other. They're like all the people look exactly the same no matter where you go, and like there's no sense of location, there's no sense of culture, history. Anything. There's no sense that this is a living, breathing world that has its own like unique places and its own regions, its own dialects, anything like that. It's all just a mush of stuff.
Well, it's
And then when it is
homogenization.
practical, sorry, Rupert, go on.
No, you first.
And then when things like say the fact there's so much CG makes it feel small, and then when there is practical scenes, they look terrible. The Tree of Linden, you would have thought they'd put a little bit of effort into that. Like, did you guys ever go to Mothercare when you were a kid, and they had the giant big plastic tree in the middle of the store? That's what it looks like. This is the level of set design we're dealing with.
Yeah, there's some very obvious sound stages there, where especially in the mines in Moria, actually, like where they got to ledges and stuff, and it's just like this just looks like a ledge that's been built on a sound stage, and then you put some styrofoam rocks around it. That's all it looks like.
The same problem The Witcher ran into, where if you make everyone looks the same, you can't tell where anyone's from or where you are in the setting. Because like when they cut to the elves and it looked like what I see when I go outside, I'm in Long Beach in California. Very diverse. It's just not how I'm picturing elves, and I don't know. It's funny.
But you look at the Lord of the Rings, when the last battle happens and you've got a mix of Rohan and Gondor, you can easily go, he's from Gondor, he's from Rohan, easily. The people walk, appear the same, got the same hair color, same skin color, yet you know specifically who's from where.
Yeah, even Elder Scrolls tries to do this. If you see someone that's black, they're a Red Guard. If you see they're a high, like it at least tries to explain why you would have modern ethnicities in a fantasy. They come from different places.
Yeah. Witcher had some attempt to justify that with like the conjunction of the spheres, where basically all humans just got dumped into this world and they kind of intermingled. It's a bullshit excuse just to justify like your diversity quotas, but like, okay, it's something. In this, there's
so quickly. You can become one thing.
Yeah, but here, like, there's no justification for it. Like, these are people that have lived in a certain place for like their entire lives, for generation upon generation. But like, you've still got like the downtown LA metropolitan mix of ethnicities because you have to meet the quotas, and it just, as Badger said, every place just looks like every other place because it's the same mix of people no matter where you go.
Yeah,
and so
verisimilitude has.
Well, it's like I never feel like I know where anything is in relation to each other because every place just looks the same.
Well, when you see the stores, it's so annoying because we love gardening like the real hobbits do. You go, but how? It's the desert. Where's your aqueducts?
Yeah.
How'd you get water to do anything? Like, they don't think anything through. They just go, we'll just superficially copy the hobbits. We've all got fake West Country accents.
It's West Country, yeah. And
yes, I keep getting Hot Fuzz vibes when I watch it. It's not funny. It's not intentionally funny anyway.
But if you wanted to show the people, you should have got Gerald from Clarkson's Farm. But they walk in, they go, they go,
what the fuck is he saying?
Yeah.
Everyone, just a village of Geralds, and they're going, I can't understand anything.
That would have been fucking great. To go back to the chat as well, they are still going, by the way. It's the latest one I've seen.
Once you start one of those going, it's a self-perpetuating machine.
It keeps,
A fistful of orcs. We got Orcinator, Orcasis.
Oh, okay.
Orcalopolis. Megalopolis that apparently is meant to be absolute dog shit of a movie.
Why do I'm interested in seeing it for some reason. Every time I see a trailer.
That's what it was.
I think it'll just be pure fascination. Like, how bad can it get? And apparently very bad. Orc Hawk Down. Yeah. Orctanic.
Yeah.
I want a remake of Titanic with
orcs. Paint me like one of your orcs.
Yeah. That'd be amazing. Orcinator, 21 Shades of Orc. Assassin's Creed Orc. Yeah, I'd play that.
Oh. I'd rather play that than Shadows.
Yeah.
Planet of the Orcs. Yeah.
Orcs were historically sword holders.
Well, of course.
Morecom in the Mordor. Oh, that's a deep one. The Sims Orcs and Orc Alone. Yeah.
Some of them sound like porn parodies.
Yeah.
Well, talking of porn parodies, we are actually getting to a point now where movies are getting the same amount of sequels as porn parodies. Up until this point, you can get like porn sequels up to like the hundreds, and we're actually approaching that with
the costume
films now.
Normally
problem
look
is,
better
like,
in porn for some reason.
The
worse
thing
than
is,
that.
when they're based around superheroes and stuff, quite often the porn actors look better than the real actors from the legit movies. Like,
That is we all getting to that point, yeah.
The stories
Porn
are better,
parodies
the
are more accurate. Yeah.
casting is better, the costumes are better. Don't ask me how I know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's
Storylines.
true.
and let's just say the payoff's better.
I mean, all jokes aside, we've been going over on streams watching like Superpower Beatdown back in the day, like decades old, and they look better than anything modern day as like accurate, story accurate, comic accurate, characters sound like the characters, but because they were fans. That's all it takes. People that know and like the material.
Yeah, because what Chris was saying about why Rings of Power failed fundamentally. I think fundamentally it was that it's the intent. It's that they didn't want to make a good Lord of the Rings show. They wanted to make a big show, and they wanted to use Lord of the Rings to do that.
They don't like Tolkien. He's a tale is stale. They don't agree with his religion. They don't agree with his ideology. They probably thought he was an old racist that was a product of his time, and they know better. It's the sheer fucking hubris line, which is why they try to change everything.
And that was my main problem with the. Sorry, Ripper.
I was going to say, this goes back to the problem with adaptation, where everything's a skin suit,
Yeah.
where you can't get anything true to the source material, because even like House of the Dragon, which is probably better than a lot of which is better than a lot of shows, even then they're changing little things, they're cutting characters out that'll have repercussions later on.
Yeah.
And so like you can't get anything good adapted nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope Arcane isn't shit.
Fingers crossed.
So is that?
Yeah, we talked about this. I mean, like, yeah, the trailer looks good. Hopefully they keep up the standard of the first season, and they're just ending it after 2 seasons, so they've got a story. They know where they want to begin. They know
thought they were
where
going
they
to have
want to take it,
more.
and they want to end it.
Well, they'll have more, but Arcane as a show is ending with 2 seasons.
I thought they were going to have 3.
No, 2, and their world, the equivalent of Middle Earth for them, I think it would be called Rune Terror. They've got a shit ton to work with, so I think they're just going to make a new show. But to be honest with you, I'd love to get in a room with them and talk to them in a business-like way, being like, you really want to squander the IP that you built with Arcane? You want to end it? You wouldn't have thought maybe you'd want to. I don't know. Maybe
You're just going to show up with a bunch of suitcases and cash going, what do you think, eh?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to make decisions just for that, but I'd be curious to have that conversation. I want to know because it's Netflix, right? And Riot, they are definitely counting the numbers. So maybe the other shows will be called Arcane : something.
An Arcane story.
Yeah, isn't it crazy expensive though? Like the animation and stuff, like it's really time consuming.
That's got to be expensive, yeah.
Oh yeah,
maybe that's factoring into it as well. I don't know.
I mean, I assume they're going to be using similar styles for the other shows as well, but you know, everything will rest on how successful the second season is. I think for their older decisions, they can't be sure of anything until they see what people are interested in. But this season did pretty well.
Are you worried at all, MauLer? Because I have friends that cover it, and they're sort of worried that
there's a.
I haven't seen the first season, and they all tell me it's really good, but they're telling me to wait because they're afraid they don't want to put me onto something that might get ruined.
I mean, I think regardless of whether season 2 is good or bad, like you can still enjoy season 1. It's probably worth your time.
Yes.
You say that, but then look at Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to love it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's how bad the second season is.
So MauLer. This applies to like Star Trek, Doctor Who, all the fucking things. Like I would still highly recommend the Star Wars OT. Like fucking
right.
Just ignore them. You know? But yeah, no. Arcane season 1, I recommend to everybody. Season 2, you know, it's juggling a lot, and it's 9 episodes, and it's already in scope going to be enormous in terms of the story they want to tell. So we're all very like, I wonder if they can pull it off. We'll see.
What do you think of The Sopranos? It just cuts to black near the end. It's you, the killer, who's man or woman, who's been chasing me. Your name is, and it just cuts off.
10 things I hate about orcs. Also, talking about fabulous video game adaptations, have you guys seen the Minecraft trailer?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you starting to feed on the horrible things? Because I feel like you've gone slightly insane, but you've come to embrace it because we all get there at some point.
Yeah, you've got to. I've had to feed on the energy rather than let it destroy me. Honestly, there's been a real tipping point for Jack Black as well. I've got to say,
stop putting Jack Black in.
He's become an object of absolute hatred at this point. Yeah, I think it's just like oversaturation. Like he just seems to take on every fucking project that comes across his desk now, and probably the Tenacious D stuff, like where they made all that political shit, didn't help. Yeah, so
that's.
But I understand this is why he did that. At least at the time, took it back because he's got this coming out and he wants to promote his Minecraft movie.
Right. Told, right? They're probably like, motherfucker, fix it.
Like you say, like the claptrap thing really didn't help him. It's like they just said, like, Jack Black, be funny right now. And it's like, wait, I've got no material to work with. Shut up, just do it. And then, like, yeah, you get Claptrap, who's just fucking awful. And it eats into this reputation. And that's the thing, like, you know, the more shit projects, the more shit roles that you do like this, the more it just destroys your reputation as a comedic actor. And that's where he's at now. He's just like purely doing it for the money, I guess.
Kung Fu Panda 20 or whatever we're on now will be good.
He's going down the Adam Sandler road where it's just like, don't give a fuck anymore. Just do all these commercially successful projects and just make a ton of money, move on. That's it. And he honestly looked like he just showed up on set, like just wearing his casual clothes. Like, do you want to shave, Jack, or get a haircut? Nah, I'm just going to do it like I am.
Well, he looks even bigger than when he and Lizzo were in The Mandalorian together. Like, just.
Oh my god! I completely memory hold that.
Sorry, Johnny, I didn't. It's stuck right here.
Who do you think's the worst? Is it Jason Momoa and his terrible wig?
Oh my god!
The black woman everyone's making fun of.
Adebayo from Peacemaker. I don't know her name. Sorry.
The black woman but I think coming off the heels of Concord as well, like that seems to have embedded itself in our consciousness. It's just like, oh my god, this is all of fucking modern entertainment. It's like a fat black woman in like horrible, loud, like shell suits and stuff.
An emasculated Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Loaded and emasculated with bangs.
She'll also go like, hell nah, and she'll do all the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa is like falling off big time. Like
I think he's suffering the curse of taking on too many things, and he
better get it together before that third Dune.
I think he's reached that point in his career as well. I don't know, what is he, like mid-40s or something, where he's like, I can't be bothered like working out all the time, staying in crazy good shape. I'm just gonna let myself go a bit. Batista, I can get.
Stop working out, dude. He's just the muscle falls off at that age.
No, I can get what he's doing, where it's like, okay, mid-50s, you probably don't want to be doing crazy amounts of steroids and heavy lifting and stuff at that point. And I think he wants to be taken more seriously as an actor. And so probably, you know, being super massive probably doesn't help. So I can kind of get why he's slimmed down. Jason Momoa is not in the same position, though.
No.
Hugh Jackman's gone the other way. Since his divorce, he's put the muscle back on.
He's going through I don't know, midlife crisis maybe a little bit. It's like, yeah, I've still got it. Like,
if you believe the word, he's going to continue to play Wolverine till he's 90, even after Secret Wars. The new X-Men will not have a Wolverine because Hugh is still playing his Wolverine.
If you believe it, which man Logan and actually be old.
They could just de-age him 5 years and just have him look how he looks right now for another decade. But does he want to do that to his body?
A lot of actors go through this arc because I'm sure Matt Damon did it with the Bourne movies, where he dropped out for one, where he's like, you know, I'm starting to get a bit old now. I don't want to do these anymore. I can't convincingly do it. Jeremy Renner did one, and then he just decided like 5 years later, I can still do it. It's fine. I'm still big and muscly and stuff, and I can still be Jason Bourne. I don't know, man. Maybe you get to a certain age, you get a bit insecure. You need to keep proving to yourself that you can still do these action
divorce probably
roles.
Was a big factor.
Probably,
I need something to distract me for the next decade. I'll be Wolverine, be beloved.
The thing is, when you're Hugh Jackman and you played Wolverine, like you can pretty much get any woman you want, really. Like divorce doesn't seem to be much of a problem for guys like him.
What? I'm not even going to get into
that it might be a beard and he might be a little zesty, but that aside, I think it's also a case of like, much like a video game when you finally unlock all the coolest outfits and you have nothing left to do in the damn game. This is what it's like. He finally is Wolverine in the outfit and now he's retired forever. So maybe he's also like, well, maybe I'll play Wolverine in the costume for a couple movies while they pay me a bunch of money.
No, wait, if your movie makes 1.2 billion, it's a pretty strong incentive to do another one. Yeah. So there'll be a Deadpool and Wolverine 2, I'm sure.
It is funny though, they push for diversity, and the film that makes over $1 billion is two white dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny
when
because
these people learn, they sell money.
It's almost like people don't watch movies because of what color the people are. It's almost like you have to make a good movie.
Yeah, but it was like it's such a temporary thing because people saw this because it's like the nostalgia of seeing Jackman back as Wolverine and seeing them finally like get their movie together that Ryan Reynolds has been wanting to do for ages. and it's fine, like, and it's been successful, but it's like a temporary boost. It's not gonna, like, it doesn't mean like, comic book movies are back, baby, or the MCU is back on top. Like, that doesn't mean any of that stuff. It was a unique circumstance that's come together to make this movie a hit, and it's probably not going to happen again.
It won't do the same thing if they don't take the same care. Like if we get a Secret Wars where Toby comes back and Andrew and him in the costume and it's all about their anchor beans, if you don't give them any actual thing to do, then it'll just be hollow.
Isn't it a multiverse story, Spider-Man 4?
They say they wanted to be Avengers level threat. Take that for what you will.
Cool.
Yeah. Like, yeah, whatever.
Whatever, everyone was fucking hype over Deadpool Wolverine. That's the most multiverse movie you're gonna get. So
yeah, but nobody was hyped for the multiverse aspect of it. It was literally just like whatever mechanism you can come up with to get Hugh Jackman.
It was the contrivance.
Agree. The amount of praise the multiversal Wolverines have gotten has been insane to the point where I wonder
too.
I wonder what. You didn't.
I love Wolverines too, but yeah, no, I don't know. They had their place.
My whole point is that everyone will talk about how much they don't want multiverse, and then they'll turn up to watch the shit out of multiverse movies. They've been pretty successful.
Yeah, that's true. That'll happen.
The only one that wasn't was for Flash, which was a garbage monster movie. But like, I thought Multiverse of Madness was a garbage movie, but that did really well. No Way Home did extremely well. The Deadpool Wolverine did extremely well.
You also got Robbie Downey Jr. coming back as Doom.
Which will be another multiverse bullshit.
A variant of Tony that will probably be the main Tony, and then we'll get someone else as the actual Doctor Doom. But God knows who they're going to get for that.
He got paid for that, $90 million to come back.
Like the fact that it got into the movie as well, the fact that they were like, "We're done. We don't like multiverse." It's like, what are you talking about? we're in the middle of it, and there's loads more coming. Yeah, but he obviously loved that sequence, and that was the most multiverse part of the whole sequence. It was fight a billion Deadpools from all over the multiverse.
Probably just to capitulate the people that hate it. Like, see, they do recognize it.
It's fine when I do it, but everyone else, let's stop.
Well, that's it. It's like if you've crossed that point where it's like, see, we're making fun of it and how it's a bit of a shit idea, but then we're just going to go right back to doing it. But because we made fun of it, that makes it okay, right? So we've got a free pass now.
That movie gets the pass, but the ones in the future won't.
Yeah.
But MauLer has
the
a point,
MCU,
though.
Who cares?
As soon as we get to Secret Wars or Doomsday and you start popping in Toby and Andrew and
they'll do it.
Blade, Wesley Snipes' Blade. Yeah, they'll do it.
Just like Star Wars references itself, now the MCU just has to reference itself and like older versions of itself. That's all we got.
Eating its own
all we got.
Yeah, it's an Ouroboros, isn't it? That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So just before we will be released into
it's like a snake eating its own tail, is it?
Yeah. So just before we finish up, shall we do a few super chats?
Yeah.
Everyone's got a bunch of questions for all of us, so we'll try and answer them. First up, Rossi gave us Critical Drinker memberships gifted, so thank you very much. B-Chain says, "Hail Open Bar. Drinker, did you say on FNT that you'll be in New England soon? Great time of year to stop by. The leaves are changing. Get yourself some authentic clam chowder and New Haven pizza." Yeah, I am going to be in New England in October. So I start off in Boston, going to drive through some of like the New England states and then like work my way back around to Boston to fly home. So I'll be there for like 9 days, I think. So
chowder.
Fun.
Say it right.
Yeah, chowder. He says, "Drinker, make happy hour great again. Bring it back. Would be cool if you would do a Halloween one with Count Dankula. It's economically viable." I would definitely be up for doing that. Yeah, always up for a happy hour. Just trying to find the time to work it into the schedule, I suppose. Albert Nader Retro says, "Sheen also paid the wages of the crew because of the season stopping production." That is pretty fucking cool, actually. Good on him. Red's Dead says, "Hello all. It's a bit off topic, but Drinker, do you have any writing projects planned or in the works? Also, has MauLer told you about the time he spent an hour getting his ass kicked by a giant baby? Cheers, gents." MauLer, care to elaborate?
Black Myth Wukong, it has giant babies.
Oh,
what can I say?
Oh, right, okay.
There's 2 different giant babies that I had more trouble with than scarier enemies. There was a giant fucking black bear that I had less trouble with than the baby, but
you know, was it a boss fight?
Yeah. Well, mini boss.
Is this like Spirited Away kind of big baby?
It's like a Jack, can you help me out? How do you describe that thing? It's like a baby with a
Just like a giant ass baby.
golem. Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, baby bosses are creepy. Like in Resident Evil, where the thing chases you, you just hear it laughing.
Oh, like the giant like fetus baby vagina.
Oh, it's
thing
so
that-
disturbing.
yeah.
Yes.
What?
Oh yeah, Resident Evil.
That's the best way I can describe it. Resident Evil
Yeah.
8. There's like a sort of scary nightmare sequence where you have to solve a puzzle and then like get out of there. You got no weapons and you get chased by like a giant mutant baby fetus thing, and if it catches you, it'll eat you.
Yeah, that's
It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
A little bit
that was fun. Yeah, in terms of writing projects, I do have a thing that I did just recently, and I don't know, MauLer, can we say anything about that? Are we allowed to? I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a no.
Oh, fuck it, I'll just say it. Yeah, so I collaborated with someone to do a bit of a writing project that's going to be coming out with them. Stay tuned for more information soon.
Ever the tease.
Yeah. Master of Puppets says, not counting Guy Ladriel, who has been butchered the worst in Rings of Power. I didn't think I'd see anything funnier than Jam, a man of fortune, but then I saw MauLer get saved by Java. It's got to be Elrond, hasn't it? I mean,
I think Elrond at least did something about the rings at the beginning of this season. That was something. Celebrimbor has consistently just been a retard in every single scene.
He has been pretty terrible.
It's the hair as well. Isildur, he has been fully pussified.
Things ever. When she goes, oh, it's you, and he just sits there, and it's like this.
Yeah, and he's got to watch.
He goes, you can see the moment his heart breaks, and you just see him go.
Yeah, Isildur that was sad too, because like, oh, she's gonna, and then it happens like, yep.
He has to slimp away, just going,
It's no wonder he kept that ring. He was not giving that away to another girl.
How is this the guy who defeats Sauron and slices the ring from his hands? Like,
well, this is his Andrew Tate arc. He'll go to the gym and go, oh, fuck women. He's just doing all that.
Yeah. Lord McSmith says, MauLer, I just saw Theory play through the scene in Outlaws where you have to QTE to eat corn at a bar. Who the hell signed off on that?
I don't fucking know, man.
They're a eating minigame.
Whatever I'm about to say to you, it's much worse. Okay, you have to get food to feed your little pet in order to unlock certain moves, and they make a fully like animated and musified fucking thing where you eat all kinds of crazy meals, and they're all filled with QTEs, many. And if you
fuck up the QTE, did you just shove the food into their eye or something?
I'm not even kidding when I say this sequence lasts like fucking 5 minutes, and they split it all up into sections. So say, for example, she's on the part where she's going to take a sip of soup 3 times. You can get the first one, and the second one, you fuck up the third one, back to the first one. The second one.
Sounds like you're ordering dinner in real life. Like you're waiting on the wait and you're making small talk going, so how are you?
It's fucking insane. It lasted so long. They clearly worked so hard on it when the whole game is a soulless, empty husk. Like, why is this? You can pet everything. Every fucking animal you come across, you can press R3 to pet it.
Well, that I approve of.
With the human beings in this world, but you can pet fucking animals. I was so bored, God, a lot of times. But certainly with that, I wanted to kill myself on the fucking eating sequences.
Oh my God.
Blade says, MauLer and Drinker, are there any movies that you're excited to show your kids or future kids or possibly illegitimate kids? My son is 4 and I can't wait until I can show him Lord of the Rings.
Well, that'd be one, yeah. All my favorite movies, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of worked through all the 80s classics like Aliens, Terminator 1 and 2, Predator, Commando. Like, yeah, you got to educate them, you know. So,
question is, if you could keep one movie or TV show away from your kids, what would it be?
Probably The Last Jedi, I think.
I said the sequel trilogy. Lock that off.
Yeah. Force Awakens. Just as bad.
For me, it's Obi-Wan. Like I'm an unapologetic prequel enjoyer. The Obi-Wan was so unbelievably offensive.
We didn't like Leia and the hiding under the trench coat
and Flea, of course. I mean, my favorite bassist was in it. How could I not like it?
I like how someone just went literal with this. It's like Human Centipede.
Yeah, that's probably a good shout, actually. Yeah.
The second one, I would definitely hide that from humanity. Like that's brutal. Yeah. Ben Mangare says, Reaper, did you see that Darksiders 4 announcement? I hope we get to see one of the most unique portrayals of death again.
I don't think so. I think it's gonna be a disaster. It's like Darksiders 3 was shit.
Yeah.
I don't even think they'll bring the voice actor back. I think it's just gonna be a quick cash grab.
Yeah, I never made it through the third one, but I love the first two. Death is so obviously you've got him as your, but yeah, such a good character. That
So we
actor.
just went, what? Who?
Death
What
is
Darksiders? I've just stole this avatar. I have no idea. I'm a fraud. Stop doing that.
yeah, no.
Rolando Ramirez says, if IGN likes this Harley, then it's probably not good. Yeah, that's fair. I'd agree with that one. Latonya Jackson says, my favorite panel on Piers Morgan, Gary the Drinker and Esther Krauke. Esther is an open bar would be fantastic. Yeah, she's good fun. Yeah, she's pretty based, and she conducts herself really well. So yeah, she'd be quite good on open bar. I don't think she'd be up for doing this though. This is pretty much beneath her, I would imagine. Problematic Pixel says, I cannot reasonably relay to you the disappointment I feel at the desecration of Tolkien's work. What is the reason for this? Malice, incompetence? Yeah, I'd put it down to incompetence for the most part.
Both.
It's just lack of talent and hubris. Graph Web says, the power of Christ compels you. Hashtag cancel Disney Plus. Yeah, go for it. Andreas says, I never donate on Totalitarian Tube, but I have to give you a shout out to Reaper. You do the most hilarious and awesome reviews out there. Can't wait for you tearing Rings of Power Season 2 apart.
It's the racism.
Yeah, you've not covered it yet, have you? So,
well, I've lumped it all into like one big one, and I'm like,
right.
I've got the half season done, but then episode 5's come out, and I go, do I add that to that? But then I'd have to wait 3 weeks to put it all together, or do I just do 2 separate ones?
Yeah, I'd go for 2 separate.
Yeah,
because it feels like we've entered into a different sort of area of the story now, anyway. So, like the first 4 would probably be a good way to break it up.
Yeah. I just it's so shit.
Yep. Seki Jokes says the progressives think that Attack on Titan is fascist because it holds up a mirror to the true ugly face of the message in the form of the Marleyans. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're going to draw whatever they want from it. Like,
did you watch that? Yeah. I remember you seeing the first season.
Yeah, so I'm on the final season now. Like, I haven't quite finished it, but like they obviously recontextualize everything with this final season. The Marleyans are not portrayed as the good guys, though. So, yeah,
was the armbands?
Yeah, it's very on the nose, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal Man says, "Oh no, we've had that one. It was like wiping out a show or a franchise." Cannon Falderall says, is the theme of Joker 2 keep taking your meds? Well, we'll find out when we see it, I suppose.
Maybe.
Chimp says, thank you everyone who's covering Rings of Power, so I never have to commit self-harm by actually watching it myself. Also, MauLer, check your data pad. There's a message from Sneem for you.
I did. It was right at the beginning of the game. It was wonderful. But maybe they're saying there's another one in the game you can get at some point. There probably is, but I never found it.
Did you run out of Star Trek references for your Sneem streams, by the way?
Well, I used the last one of the final Sneem for Final Frontier, and then someone suggested if you do one more, you can say somehow the Sneem returned. And I was like, oh yeah, sweet, I'll do that.
That's fair enough. I'll do a couple more and then finish up. Yeah. What's that? Atomic Azam says, MauLer, we need an EFAP movies for killer clowns from outer space. It would be hilarious.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, maybe. Some point.
Craig Julian says, aha, drinker. Do you think that Disney deployed their shills to screech like wounded banshees about renewing Acolyte Season 2 to replicate the Snyder Cut movement? That'd be hilarious if they did. I'm still pulling for it. I hope they do a Season 2. Come on, guys. It can happen. I believe in it. We can make this happen. David Stayer says, Chilliwack, not just a band. Okay. Shaker Silver says, can't believe IGN is more substantive than Open Bar at Joker 2. Who cares about its superficial references and reviewer politics? Talk about the content. Yeah, but it's IGN. I mean, what do you expect? Yeah, we haven't seen it yet, so we don't know.
We gotta wait a bit, yeah.
And Teletrans69 says, Drinker, with you coming to Grand Rapids Comic-Con, any chance of a bar meetup during your trip? Grand Rapids has some fine distilleries and breweries there. Yeah, I've heard the beer is really good there. So stay tuned. If I've got the opportunity to do like a meetup or whatever in the evening, I will do it. But yeah, I'm going to be there on the Saturday and Sunday, and then I'm heading off to do some work with the Residents of Evil guys. We're going like further north for that. So yeah, I'm just going to be there for 2 days. But should be fun while I'm there. I'll try and make the most of it. I'll probably finish up there, though, because I'm going to be jumping shortly into another stream with Outcast Creative, where we're going to be interviewing one of the actresses who was in Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. So that should be fun. So join us over there shortly. But to my panel tonight, thank you guys for giving us some time to join us for this. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, Drinker. It's a pleasure to be here, mate.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Yeah.
And thank you, chat, for all the awesome super chats and everything.
Yeah,
that
they're
you
still
sent
going.
through.
The orc titles are still going.
Oh yeah, they'll be at this all night.
Yeah, they don't stop.
They will not stop. That's what like 11,000 people can do when they work together. But yeah,
what's the thing about 1,000 monkeys and a typewriter or something?
Yeah. Eventually they'll hit on something.
They are producing Shakespeare. Look at it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's glorious. But yeah, like any super chats that we've missed, we will always catch up with them on last orders. But for now, at least on Open Bar 111, that's all we got for today. So go away now.
Bye.
He said the thing.